Hello. Okay, so this is probably a really long video, just going over random tips and tricks and things I've learned over the years grinding Coda Low percent. I got my Coda Low percent, I got my first Coda clear in early 2023, and I got my Coda Low percent clear about a month ago, so that would be, or it was a month and a half ago, in January 2023, so it took me almost 2 years to get a Coda Low percent clear. Very slow. But I've played it a lot, and I feel like there's a few things I've learned that, not that they're hard to learn, but they're lessons you learn from dying a lot. So hopefully I can teach you lessons, how to figure out and read the game a little bit better without dying and learning through frustration. So first and foremost is, well, I'm coming into this with the assumption that whoever is listening has at least a Coda clear, maybe 2 or 3, and they've been grinding it. They play like Coda Low percent on and off just for fun, but they're like, you know, what, it would be cool, what if I did get it clear, you know? So hopefully I can help give some tricks to help your gameplay go to that next level a little bit in order to get Coda Low percent. Basically, if you don't want to watch, this is already boring. The TLDR is you want to play patient and methodical. You want to be very intentional with what you do, but you don't want to be like foolish, like running in, being silly, having to react fast, putting yourself in bad situations. You want to be good with your gameplay, but you want to react fast as well, because sometimes there are situations where you just have to react. There's nothing you can do. So first of all, for your options, if you haven't already, maybe you have, you want to zoom the game out a little bit. You want to turn off screen shake. Those are the biggest ones. Those will help you a lot. Just seeing more of the level genuinely helps. I'm pretty sure the default zoom is like 5, right? Like, this is just cramped. Actually, I don't think this is default. This might be a bit too much. I think it's 4. But I have it on 2.5. I also have my camera on 1.75. So it's just zoomed out enough that I can see a lot of the level. But not so much that it's like distracting and you can't see. What else you want to do is for your sound, in this game, the sound effects are ever so slightly off sync. Just by a little bit. So if you rely on the sound effects, you'll be lagging behind the beat. So you might want to have your sound effects a little bit lower. You can have advanced volume options and just turn off whatever sound effects you want. I haven't done all that. I'm used to the lag of the sound effects. For soundtrack, it's pretty good to use Vert. Vert is like the most recommended double tempo one, because you can even hear in the lobby remix here how the drums are cutting through the music. It's a lot easier to keep double tempo because of how tight the music is. If you don't want to use Vert, you can also use Chips or A-Rival. I use random because it's the most fun. I get to hear all the songs in the game, not just Vert or one soundtrack. There's a lot of other little things you can change, like your gold. I have mine as purple because if it has a red outline, you can't see it on coal. If it has a yellow outline, you can't see it on the wire. If you have a blue outline, you can't see it on ice. Purple contrasts really well with all the floor and terrains in the game, so I have it on purple. There's other mods too that puts like a red square on every gold tile, which makes it a lot more obvious which areas are bad or not. There's other things too, like there's some people that play this game and they can play without the beat bar. Also, if you ever want to search for all the thousands of options in this game, you can press Control F in options and just find it. I have my beat bar speed at maximum, or I think maximum is 500. Oh no. Oh my god, you can get it super fast. That's gonna be a little too fast. I have my beat bars at 450 because it zooms them out a little bit. I rely on the beat bar and the disco floor visually, like literally looking at them to see whether or not I'm off beat. So if I'm lagging off beat, I can look down there and see I'm not on beat and speed up until I'm back on beat. So if I'm lagging, you can see in the disco floor as well that I'm lagging, or if I'm going ahead, I'm going a little bit ahead of the beat. So whatever works for you, try to find that, because it's different for each person, I swear. Everyone has like a preferred way of playing it. Some people don't need beat bars at all. Some people get really anxious seeing beat bars this fast, so they prefer slower beat bars. Whatever works for you. Luckily, there's 10 million options that you can change inside the game to best suit you. But no matter what, you should have screen shake on 0 or very low and zoom out the game. It'll help a lot. Yeah, I have to do this too. So generally, all the advice I'm giving is stuff that works for me, what I have learned, but I also recognize that my playstyle is a lot more reserved and patient than a lot of other players. Like if you look at my, let's go to lobby. If you look at my time, it's the slowest low percent clear. It's actually one of the, I think it is the slowest low percent clear of all Coda Low clears, because I just have a very slow and patient style. But a lot of what I say applies to Ogres and Rushes clear. They know exactly what they're doing. They're doing exactly what they need to. They just have a lot more of aggressive of a play style. So generally what works for me is playing very patient, not just running into every room and then just reacting right away. I can't really play that way. I don't have the super best reaction speed. So generally the way I like to play is dig one, back up. Yep, because of that Minotaur. Stuff like that is why I play slow, just in case. Because you never know what's around any corner, especially when you don't have a torch. So, I guess, yeah, let's jump into the levels. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of the zones, things you need to do in each zone, things to be mindful of. And then I'll go through and do the bosses last, because bosses in their own is the whole other half of Coda Low percent. So inside of zone 1 also, if you want to practice low percent and you want to use single zones, you can, but there's a weird thing with the game where single zones is easier. You wouldn't think it is, because on Coda, stuff you buy in the shop is cheaper, you spawn with more health, and there's 2 chests each level. None of those affect you at all. But the one thing that does is that 5 enemies spawn less on each floor in single zones mode, and you already have an 8 piece, which gets rid of a few enemies. So there's a lot less enemies in single zones. So on zone 1 specifically, you want to always be digging. This area is very tight, very crimped. So if you're just using the default pathway, it can get really tight really quickly. So just digging to give yourself more room can help a lot. Also, learning how to map each zone can help a lot. So we know from here, there's a room below me. There's room to the left that probably has a shopkeeper to it. Nope. So shopkeeper's probably top right or bottom right. You can see that the rooms go to the top right, so there's probably a room to the right of me. That means exit's probably bottom right. And sure enough, yep. See, by kind of intuiting where the exit was, that Minotaur wasn't so scary. It was a little scary though. Something with zone 2 as well, or zone 1, is you want to be very mindful of where you dig. Like, yes, you do want to open up the level, but we don't want to open this up just randomly in case that's a bat cave. So you want to be very mindful. You want to dig these corners just to see inside of them. Okay, we see that this is room down here, so we'll dig this corner. That too, single zones mode. makes that a base enemy. Okay, so we have a level here that's custom made. I can see a head in it, but this is a level you would probably see in Loda if you do enough attempts of it. The worst part about Zone 1 and low percent is having a tier 1 shovel. Of course, you need a tier 3 shovel to dig the tier 3 walls, but you get the worst of both worlds. It's a very cramped level. I was lucky that that bat aggroed. So these tier 3 rooms are all about good gold management. So like right here, let's bait him out. You can actually use a spike trap to our advantage. Not worry about gold. We don't want to attack that skeleton here, because then we're just completely blocking ourselves off. Oh, this bat is blocking us. Okay. So we don't hear trampling, we don't hear stomping, so we know it's a Minotaur through this room. Oh god. We gotta go all the way out here. Clear out this gold so that we have a nice clear way to run. No, it's Minotaur? Yeah, there he is. Something you can do too is use the Minotaur to intentionally dash to the walls and break the tier 3 rooms. Oh, I thought I would kill him there. You can see how you would clear the level. You want to be very intentional about where you put gold. You don't want to block any of these rooms. You want to fight bats away from corridors. And you want to bait stuff onto spikes if you can. Generally very tight. The other thing about Zone 1 to get good at, because honestly, I genuinely believe, like not a joke, not a meme, I genuinely believe Zone 1 is the hardest zone on Coda. I say that with my full heart. Because of how tight it is, how annoying the enemies are, how annoying closets are. Just everything about it. So basically what we're going to do now is I'm just going to go through Zone 1 the way I normally play it. With a focus on how I handle enemies, because of how tight and cramped Zone 1 is, it's pretty important to have good gold placement. And to also be mindful of where you're going, because you don't want to be opening unnecessary rooms. Of course, not super important in a Loda run, because, you know, that's the zone you're probably dying in the most. Just getting out of it is not too hard on its own. But, like, sometimes you're like, oh, I want to play Loda, but I don't want to be stuck in Zone 1. Let's just get out of it real quick. Unfortunately, you kind of need patience for Zone 1. Not always. This is how I normally fight Direbats. I dance back and forth. Oh my god. Even on 1-1, you'll probably still miss a beat. You dance back and forth, let them come into you. Another cool thing about not Zone 1, but how bosses generate, you can't have 2 of the same mini-bosses on 2 consecutive levels. So we had a Direbat last level. That means we have either a Minotaur or a dragon here. So we'll have to be looking out for walls being dug towards me. I'm intentionally not digging this because it could be a bat cave. I can't dig the corners safely. We're just gonna open it this way. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. Zone 1 is so cramped, you have to go through this one way. Okay, it was not a bat cave. Now we have this way unlocked. Should be a Minotaur soon, yep. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. He luckily dug out for us a little bit. Oh, we can just leave. Very convenient. Okay. Another cool thing about Zone 1. On the 3rd level, Direbats cannot spawn. You cannot get a Direbat on 1-3. You can get a Direbat on 2-3 and 3-3, which is stupid as hell. But you can't get a Direbat on 1-3. So since we just fought a Minotaur, we know that we're going to fight a dragon this level. So we're going to be looking out for stomping. And because of that, we're going to kind of be playing more slowly. We can use a spike wall to our advantage. We can also use this trap to our advantage. just back quack. So we can use this to slow down the song. We're gonna kind of just be looking out and listening for the dragon to trample. And there he is. We were talking about earlier about how annoying tier 3 rooms are. I'll probably put up a visual right now too. When dragons are not aggroed, they stomp in a plus shape, in a little 3x3 shape. And then when they aggro, they only stomp one. So when you know you have a dragon and it's aggroing and stomping towards you, it can be good to just let them come to you and trample everything. Because dragons will trample enemies, they'll trample through walls, they'll trample through shop walls. They'll just open up the level a lot for you too. You didn't trample a lot here. I'm gonna put this gold in a little bit better of a spot. Play this a little bit slow. Just bat out of the way. Okay. We got the easiest zone 1 boss. So yeah, letting the dragons, and once the dragons trample towards you and clear out that little area, typically that leads directly to the exit, and since they trampled through walls, there's no enemies inside of them. So it makes it a lot more safer. Unlucky. Okay, so on to zone 2. This is, in my opinion, the easiest zone on Loda. That doesn't mean that it's easy by any means. It just means that it's the least hard. Specifically because it's really, really easy to map. Like if you have seen anyone speedrun this game, it makes sense. Basically, just dig through the wall in spawn and yeah, you'll probably find the way towards the exit. Do a little bit of gold placement trick there to clear up our gold. The main thing in zone 2 is the enemies are the hardest. The wind mages and golems. We got this Direbat trapped. That's convenient. Learning how to fight enemies in the spawn room can be really good because sometimes you can get rushed. Not super often. We got a dragon. I'm gonna use this dragon to get rid of this mushroom. Now we have a little bit more of an open room here. Oh yeah, moles is the other really shitty part about zone 2 because they aggro from so far away, but you can't see them. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna put this golem on this gold. I'm honestly gonna put this golem on this gold too to consolidate the gold. Makes it a lot more comfortable. Probably just run to exit. Yep, okay. Mole. Let him come to me. As you can see, we can just dig wherever the walls are, and that's probably going to lead towards the exit. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Fight in a way so that all the gold is cleared more easily. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Consolidate all the money because it makes it a lot more comfortable because there's going to be some enemies hidden in this room. In every room in the game, in every zone, the exit room spawns the most enemies. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way because the dragon will trample through stuff or they aggro from far ways away, but the exit room will always have the most enemies. And yeah, that's what I meant by Direbat spawning on 2, 3. Sometimes you just have to play and dance with them for a very long time. It's honestly not a super hard zone. We also got the best zone 2 boss. This is the easiest version of Death Metal. Because you can run in like that, and it's consistent every time. The spawn camp is lower too. These clones are still in the way though. There we go. If you stay on this row, you're safe against Death Metal, which is fun. You need to breathe for a little bit. And we're out. So yeah, generally pretty easy. The rare thing that you will have on zone 2 is the nightmare level, where, not the enemy, but like, I'll find a level in level editor. There we go. Okay, so sometimes what happens in Zone 2, it's not super common. I'd say maybe like 1 in 20 runs. Get this mo first. Is you find a level where you can't dig through. It just doesn't connect up. So you have to go through main path. So for those levels, it's kind of a lot like Zone 1. You want to have really good gold placement. Keep yourself clear. Give yourself lots of room. Oh, we got that mole. He actually dug up the spike trap. Because the level will be very long regardless. Oh god, this mage. Okay. We actually can't kill this purple mushroom. He's completely blocked off. So that's funny. That's just something that happens in Loda. You just gotta be able to deal with it. 1, 2, 3. Okay. What's the boss? See this enemy up here? Okay. Oh, I hear it trampling. We got tar through here, so we gotta be very careful. There's no torches, so we gotta be playing slow. Go 1 tile back up. We can see the exit. Okay. That's just sometimes what happens in Zone 2. Even though it's generally pretty easy, you gotta be careful of wind mages and of bad zone generation. But honestly, there's not a lot to say. It's a pretty easy zone. Zone 3 is, in my mind, in my opinion, that's when the run starts. You get out of Zone 1, okay, easy peasy. Zone 2, yeah, okay. Zone 3 is when it starts to that's when the pressure starts to mount in of oh boy, this is actually a pretty good run. So, first of all, breathe, stay calm. Generally, the worst part about Zone 3 is mapping it is extremely hard, and the enemies can be extremely brutal. Oh god, my fucking game froze. Okay, so Zone 3, you can see, I guess never mind, it's pretty easy to map if the exit spawns right in front of you. I'm moving away so that I only aggro the Banshee. Get this Yeti out. Generally in Zone 3, you want to just be moving, at least for me, not everyone plays this way, I know this is my playstyle of playing slow and patient. You want to be moving slow in a way to give yourself a lot of room. Like, you don't want to just run bottom left to look at the level. You want to sit around here for a little bit, see what enemies aggro. Okay, now we can go around and explore. Oh yeah, see, that's why we did corners. That's a bat cave. Let's not open that up. You can see that this is only enemy down here. Let's get this goblin. Okay, he's actually stuck. We can do a combo here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna buffer here so that I have this clear row of no money. And a lot of the other zones, you can just kind of oh, I see the exit and run to it. You can't really do that here because there's lots of, oh boy, Spawnrush. That was actually a very lucky Spawnrush because they all lined up for me vertically. But what I was saying is you can't always just run immediately to the exit in Zone 3 because there will be a lot of enemies around the corner. So I think in Zone 3, more importantly, more than any other zone, to play slow, check 1 tile back up. Check 1 tile back up. We actually got Deep Blues 3, which kind of sucks. I'm not super good at Deep Blues, let alone Deep Blues 3. The other thing for Zone 3 is just being very confident about entering right on beat because of Spawnrushes. So it doesn't matter what seed you have or how afraid you are, you just need to be ready to click right to the beat right away because you never know what's going to happen in Zone 3. I'll go over specific enemy patterns later. right now is sort of just like how you need to think about clearing zone 3. Click right away. Oh, I actually did that a little wrong there. No, that's a little bit blocked off by the ice. I'm gonna buffer one just so this ice lane is lateral. Got gold. Okay, we can sort of intuit from this level. Exit's bottom right. So we're gonna dig back up, aggro back up, dig back up. Ah, we got a Direbat, which is really unlucky. I'm actually gonna get this gold all the way out here because it's a Direbat. Just dancing in a way so that if he comes into me, I can just hit him. Ugh. Okay, we're gonna get rid of this gray goblin first because he's starting to scare me. 1, 2. Whoa, I would have gotten hit there if I pressed up. Patience. Spawn storm? Nope. Click right away just in case. With that level specifically, you could have just waited for a little bit to compose yourself. Over here trampling. Alright, run one back up. Yeah, that dog. Can you just run? D plus 3 again. Yeah. Oh, the queen went first because of priority. Yeah, I don't really know my D blues very well. I'll get into that later. I do my strat a different way. What else do I want to talk about with zone 3? Yeah, so going into zone 3, it is, in my mind, it is like, this is the hard zone. This is where the run begins. Because it is such a step up in difficulty compared to zones 1 and 2. It's insane. Most people that play Coda Low, they're like, oh yeah, I got my PB and died in zone 3, you know. That's just how it is. Something worth noting is knowing how zone 3 generates. The cold hot section just cuts through it randomly, but it wraps around typically in a horseshoe shape. So you have the spawn room, you have this room over here, you have this room over here, this room over here, which had nothing in it, and this exit room. You can see that it wraps around. So if we just play the level, actually we don't need a map at all because the Minotaur comes to us, but we can intuit just from looking. Just from looking at it from those few seconds before the Minotaur started digging, where the exit probably is. Again with this one, okay, we can see the sharp right away, so it's not going to be in the bottom right. Because we can see walls and edges already from just from spawn. So we can probably intuit. We can also see bottom right from here, so we can probably intuit that the exit is top left. Gonna aggro one back up. Yep, sure enough. This Shovemonster. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Clear this bomb. This goblin is honestly giving me a headache, so we will clear him. Gonna clear every enemy because it looks like there's a fuckload of enemies up there. There could be more enemies hidden around this corner as well. There's not. And sometimes in zone 3, what happens most of the time, if you die this way, don't feel too bad about it. Sometimes the game just says fuck you. Sometimes you just spawn and it's a rush. I didn't mean to place my bomb there. Yeah. Like, sometimes that just happens. There's not much you can do about it. Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. So what what you can do in spawn rushes like that, it might be hard, but prioritize the mini boss, because I only killed four enemies that level. Yeah. And because one of those enemies we killed was a mini boss, we could just run to the exit. Which is the convenient part about boss spawn rushes. If you just get a normal level spawn rush, that can just F you over. And don't feel too bad about losing like that, because it's just like, the game just sucks like that sometimes. The way enemies spawn in Zone 3 is it puts enemies behind walls. Like, if you look at the past 2 levels we spawned, the enemies over here are behind walls. This slime is behind this corner wall here. This skeleton is behind this wall. This rider is behind this wall. But if they're not behind walls, if you can see the enemies, it pushes them back as far as they can. So these elementals pushed up against these blocks, elementals pushed up against tin, beetle against the trap, ice slime doesn't matter. This beetle is pushed up against this. The Shovemonster is pushed up against this corner wall. It pushes them as far away as they can. As you can see, it doesn't matter. If there's just torches around, it'll still aggro the enemies all the same. So, being very mindful of rushes, being ready for anything helps a lot. Another thing too is, I know I talked in Zone 1 how important digging is. You kind of don't really want to dig in Zone 1 unless you need to. Minotaur's gonna aggro. Like this corner down here, it could be a bat cave. If you're just digging randomly, you can aggro yourself. There will be lots of times where there's just a knight rider behind a wall, a beetle and a Shovemonster behind a wall. Sometimes it's more prudent to just follow the main path and aggro enemies that way, because you can see them from so much further away. Definitely the hardest zone. Or no, the second hardest zone, I think. Definitely like when the run begins. So into Zone 4, this is the scary zone. If you're good enough to get to Zone 4 and Coda Low, you can win. I genuinely believe that, because it takes a lot just to get out of Zone 3 and to get past the Zone 3 boss. To compose yourself well enough to get to Zone 4 is a lot. So the thing with Zone 4 is it's kind of like the opposite of Zone 3. It is extremely easy to map, and it's pretty relatively safe to dig, but you still want to be extremely mindful of it. And I guess it's not too dissimilar to Zone 3 because enemy combos suck. So generally, with Zone 4, there is a certain way you should be digging. We can see on the mini-map, we're in the top left corner, exits bottom right. Okay, so how do we get there? The best way to dig in Zone 4 is through your corners. Like, we could dig right down below me. We should dig this corner wall first, see if we can peek into it. Dig this corner room first. Because what can happen, if you're seriously attempting Coda Low, and you open walls just willy-nilly, you're fairly likely to just open a bat cave. Like this, we can see that this is a room below, so we're going to dig through this corner. We're going to try to get this harpy. Okay, we got it in this row, so we have this money consolidated. I'll go over enemy combos later again. But you want to be digging in a way. Like, you don't want to dig through this wall to the right, dig below. Okay, it's probably the exit room. It's not. So you want to be digging in a way that makes it safe and keeping money out of the way, because it can get really hairy really fast if you don't get money out of the way. This wall pig is actually Convenient, we can use it. No, we can only use it once. Okay, this is kind of bad. Let me get rid of this knight first. The mummy will actually come to us. We're going to play a little bit more patient. She'll sneak right to that row. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go, again, I keep saying it, but I'll go over each enemy and the best way to deal with them later on. Oh my god, secret harpy. What I'm just doing right now is like how you should be thinking about each zone, what to do in each zone, how to be careful in each zone. We can see it's on the top right. Let's not dig this wall right above us. Well, typically it's good to approach the boss room vertically, just in case it's a dragon or a mommy. So we're gonna actually prioritize going horizontal here. Do that so the money's a little more out of the way. I did that fight in a certain way so that this money doesn't block the room a little bit. We can still go around this money. I'm very intentional with that. Let's aggro this Lich. Get him on this bottom row. Again, corner dig. Goblin Bomber clears out the traps. And when you corner dig like this too, it makes it going around the corner a lot more safe. Oh, I did that in the wrong way. I thought the Harpy would jump one tile above. Okay. You can sort of see what I mean by digging safely though. Dig the corner. Dig this corner. Right, let's dig this corner then. The best way to, oh no, I'll talk about that later. Generally, Zone 4 is kind of like Zone 1 in that the rooms are really cramped, so doing as much as you can to clear up the rooms and make them a little bit less cramped can help a lot. We're going to dig up in this corner. Okay, it's just a regular room. Let's get rid of this. You unfortunately can't corner dig, so we're just going to dig and run away. Okay, we actually got really lucky with how we decided to fight this. They're all stuck. Still a little tight, but because of how I did that gold placement there, I had a lot more room to play. Out of the way, I'm trying to keep this column clear. Get the skeletons, we can go around. Okay. Ah, see, sometimes you just get unlucky. Oh. Don't panic, though. Oh, we actually made a wall of gold. Try to get this bat on this gold if we can. No, it's not that big of a deal. Oh my god, dude. I'm in a low percent run. I would definitely want to, yeah, kill that bat. Because we'll be running backwards to this area. So getting him out of the way is helpful. In my Loda run, I did accidentally open into a skeleton cave with an armadillo. So you can be careful, you can be super patient, and do everything correctly. It'll still happen sometimes. You'll just get bad terrain generation. Bad enemy generation. Corner dig. Okay, if we want to run, we have to run down this column. Everyone, back up. Could be a Harpy, so that's why I'm playing so careful. Okay. Actually, while I'm here, something you can do with these wind goils, sometimes, this is a pretty open room, sometimes they're in the right middle of the room. You can nestle things in the way and throw at them to kill them with a piercing throw. You have to be stuck right next to them, or else it won't kill them. But now we get a lot more room up here to play. Aha, see, that's what corner digs are used for. Don't fret. You can dig carefully, but like still sometimes they'll get through. Ready to react. Okay. Can corner dig again. Okay. See that if it was back, you would have seen it that time. We're just gonna put him up here and then try to run for the exit. So there was a Lich. Ooh, okay. Yeah, be ready. Spike wall. Spike wall again. Dig right here so we can preserve the spike wall. Whoa. Okay. That's a little bit weird. Actually dug into the room next to it. I'm gonna kill him down here because you don't want to open whatever's up here. We can actually see what it's in there. No, we can't. Could be a back cave. So I want to be careful. Basically, I'm always under the presumption that any 2x3 or 3x3 room is a bat cave, and we don't want to open it. Close gun like fusion. We're gonna walk against the wall to see if anything digs out to it. Aggro one. Oh god. Actually, Mommy Don's here. No, we can't. She spawned her mummy inside of the wall. It's convenient. Okay. Okay. So on 4-3, this is the big level. This is the hardest level for sure. Something worth noting about 4-3 and about Zone 4 in general, only one enemy type can spawn in each room. You can only have one Warlock, Blademaster, and Lich in each room. You can't get two Blademasters. You can get two Harpies and two Bats. You can't get two Goblin Bombers. You can only get one Golem. So that's something worth noting while traversing Zone 3 or 4-3. Another thing is to just be ready because it's such a fast song. You don't really have time to think and be careful. You can see the exit is bottom left, so we're going to try to go to it horizontally. Let's just go for it. Okay, corner dig doesn't work. Kill him that way so he's horizontal. 1, 2, 3. And you Harpy around this corner. Oh, okay. That Goblin sentry's getting away. This is kind of a scuffed level. Okay, he's actually stuck on the vault wall. That's lucky. You have to go this way. Anything trampling towards us? Yep. Aggro one. Actually bait him onto the spikes. Oh god. That's why we put the gold in a certain way so that we can run. Okay, we kind of blocked ourselves actually. It's a trap cave, that's lucky. Just go around. Okay. We actually got the easiest Fortissimole. I'll show that later. So Zone 4, TLDR, be very careful where you dig, be ready to react. I'm gonna know how to talk better. So I think Zone 5 is the second easiest zone on Loda, but still difficult, and especially since it's the last zone in the run. If you made it out of Zone 3 and then Zone 4 made to Zone 5, you are under so much nerves. So the whole point is to be confident in Zone 5 without second guessing anything, second guessing any enemy interactions, just knowing exactly what you want to do. So generally for Zone 5, the walls are your friends. You want to be digging as much as you can, much like Zone 1. And you don't always need to be using the wire to attack. It can help, but sometimes it can hurt too, because it'll make light, and it'll light up further as if you have a luminous torch for one beat. So sometimes you don't want to attack on the wire intentionally. So it's a lot more safe to just, oh god, yeah. Dig a wall back up. You don't want to be opening the doors, because then you're just, if you're unlucky and there's 4 enemies on the other side, you're just letting them all out. So you can actually fight the skeleton off the wire in a consistent way. One, 2, 3, 4. That's actually not a good demonstration, but you see what I mean. You don't always need to be fighting him on the wire. Since we have enemies coming here, let's bait them one at a time. Get him out of the way. Okay. We can intuit. Zone 5 is a little bit harder to map, but generally, there's a rule of thumb. Since the biggest room is always the exit room, it's probably not next to anything else, so it's maybe bottom right? No, okay, so it's definitely top right. Use this wall to our advantage so that we don't have gold. And Minotaur. 1, 2, 3. Generally with exit rooms, you don't always need to light up the middle. You can just run right to the middle. If you're afraid, you can actually throw your dagger and you'll get wire light for a second. So that can help you, give you a little bit better visuals ahead of you, like that. So yeah, you generally just want to be digging in a way that's safe. Okay, it's actually a lot of enemies. This is gonna be a fun combo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Look at that, we just killed all those enemies. No gold. Just from utilizing the good walls. Of course, we can't get rid of every single piece of gold. Something cool about Zone 5 is you can actually use the shops for a little bit more safety. I wouldn't generally recommend going in the shops to fight or to run away into, because every shop, except for the ones in Zone 5, only have a one-way door. Since we have 3-way, we have a lot more room here. Also, we can maybe intuit that exit is bottom left. It is. But if it wasn't, like let's say we thought top right was exit. Yeah, we can dig in a way that's pretty safe and then just run away and back up. Again, using walls for advantage here. No gold. It's actually kind of messy how many enemies we aggroed there. Here might be a good spot to use wire. Yep. So you saw that we used a wire there. And it aggroed enemies. Are you a blue eye? Okay. Scooch around. Get to the exit safely. 5-3 generally. Same thing, just a little bit harder. So one thing to note about 5-3, for some reason, gold, the eggs have the highest priority of all the enemies, except in 5-3 where you get golden mages. Then they have the highest priority. They shoot before an egg moves. Actually, they all shoot before an egg moves, but a golden mage will move in front of a green egg. So don't let that trip you up. Oh, look at this. We get another wall combo. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. One. Out of the way for that zombie. So if we can consolidate this gold, we can. Good. That makes that really convenient. You can instantly see where the exit room is. The consistent way to fight these guys, you can just use a wire. Hit them once, back up once. But see, if you use the wire this way, now you have all these enemies cramping up this room, and this is something that really peeves me off, even though it's so minor in Coda multiplayer lobbies, is people will just kill everything on the wire, and then it makes the main room so cramped. Oh my god. Like, see, we have this gold in the way now, because we didn't utilize the wall. Okay, this Metrognome sucks, actually. So finding ways to have good gold placement, utilizing the walls, can help a lot. Oh, we actually did that wrong. I was thinking about what I was going to say. You can see what I meant, though. Good gold placement helps so much with this zone. I actually had to use my bomb in my Coda Low clear. Mostly because of fear. I backed up myself into spawn room and cornered myself around gold. But if I had less fear, we could traverse more safely. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that, we got all that money on one pile. So yeah, generally a pretty easy zone. The hard part is, oh my god, enemy management. You want to be mindful of skulls, of eggs around the corners, of mages shooting balls and opening doors, opening up walls, not opening the doors and spawn, so that you don't get rushed. Like, that egg was kind of scary, but that was the only enemy we had to fight. Exit below, it is. Actually use the shop to our advantage here. We still have a clear way through the gold. Okay. Should be all the enemies aggroed, so we can just go to the exit. So, okay, we have a kind of bad room. We don't want to dig this room to the bottom left of us, because that could be a bat cave. It could just be another room. Let's just not worry about it and dig right... Oh my god. I dig right there, so I have to deal with the money. Ah, kind of ugly. Actually use the spikes. 1, 2, 3. Actually have the safe room up here. Got one. Wired. Oh my god. Okay, you get the idea. So now I'll go into enemies. I guess I'm going to go through each zone again and go through enemy interaction, because I think this is where the most worth learning is. Knowing enemy priorities, knowing enemy combos. So I'll probably this will be worth a lot of cutting, but it'll be worthwhile. Because you can train against individual enemies. Maybe you're having trouble figuring out the parity on ice elementals because of their 3-beat. The thing that's really killer about enemy parity and enemies in general is how they combine with other enemies. Like, a mommy in zone 4 is dangerous, spawning that little extra thing, but it's especially shitty when she spawns a mummy and there's a harpy and there's a black skeleton rider and you gotta deal with all three at once. So there's a few enemy combos that are really good to look out for. So an enemy combo you'll see a lot is skeletons and monkeys. Something worth noting is that monkeys have low priority. So they will get stuck behind enemies. Like this ghost here, he gets stuck right behind that ghost. Even though I moved in a way that could have gotten me killed to miss beat visually, I didn't because there was a ghost in the way. Oh, my fingernail pressed up. You can see what I mean though. Monkeys get stuck behind other enemies, so try to bait them in a way to get them stuck out. So another enemy combo you'll see a lot, which is pretty annoying, is bat and monkeys. Bats move in front of monkeys, so it's pretty much just better to just back up and let the enemy come to you. Let the monkey come to you. Another thing, let's see if we, yeah, find another skeleton. Something I do a lot when I'm fighting skeletons is I move in a way, off parity of them like that, so that I can move those skeletons and hit them in a way to push them further away. Like this, we see this skeleton monkey combo again. The last thing to note is that mini-bosses almost always, I think the only ones that don't is Metronomes? I actually don't think so. I think all mini-bosses have higher priority than regular enemies. Unless it's like a Goblin Bomber. For some reason, Goblin Bombers have insane priority, so be mindful. When I mean priority, by the way, when I'm talking about with priority, is there is a certain value to each enemy in the game that determines their priority value. So if an enemy has a higher priority, then they will move in front. They will move first. They will shove their way in front of other enemies. That's why skeletons shove their ways in front of monkeys and bats shove their way in front of skeletons. Oops. The other thing with priority, I'll just show this right now, is when there's two enemies that are moving towards you and the one behind them has higher priority, the enemy behind will move in a way to get around you. So this combo right here, you can bait that skeleton out behind from you. So if that's why enemies keep moving around each other, that's why. The enemy behind has a higher priority. This is also applicable to mages and shield skeletons in zone, or skeleton inside of zone 2. The mage has a higher priority, so he'll try to move behind. So you can bait the mage out in a way to get him out first. But probably the most important combo of that is inside of zone 4. Let's make a zone 4 level real quick. Is Blademasters behind Warlocks. And that's a combo. Look at that. You see it right here. That's a combo you'll see all the time because they love to spawn together. If you move in a way like this, we see that the Blademaster wants to get out from behind him because he has a higher priority. The best way to fight this enemy combo is to split them up. You can do it that way to hit him once. Oops. Another way to do it is to, let's say, well, I guess we gotta bait the Blademaster behind. Just to be ready to react to that. I guess we can change that in editor. So if we change this around so that the Blademaster is first. So if we change the order so that the Blademaster is behind, you can just split them up like that. There's lots of ways to fight them, but you should always remember to try to split them up. You can actually use his priority function to make him go back against the wall. Which splits them up. There's lots of ways to handle it, but being cognizant about it can help you a lot. I guess we'll also talk about... Well, now we'll go back to zone 1. So that's why priority... Knowing the priorities for enemies is so good. There's a specific table for it. I'll link that in the description, of course, of each enemy priority in the game. And you don't need to memorize every single one, right? Like, you don't need to know that a base monkey has a lower priority than a ice elemental, because that doesn't come up in Loda. You know, it's just about each enemy in each zone. The one that's most important on is probably deep blues, the enemy priority in deep blues, and the power pieces. But just knowing and being cognizant of priority can help you a lot. What else do we have in zone 2? I'm just going to make this a little bit more easy for us. So this enemy combo comes up a lot. Something, not this specific enemy combo that comes up a lot, but when 2 enemies are off parity. That's just really hard for me. I don't really have any tips for that other than just be ready to kill the enemies that is faster. Another thing too, with moles, kind of a low percent killer. We can hear this mole through the wall. We actually know that he's vertical to us and that he's stuck. He's actually perfectly vertical of us. So this means that he's probably stuck on a wall or another enemy up here. Yep. I was so busy tutorializing and trapped myself. So the other thing to be really careful of is moles. You can pretty easily hear them and pay attention for them. Like this mole, we can hear it through this wall. He's actually, okay, now he's perfectly vertical of us. He's perfectly vertical of us, so that means there's an enemy right above us, yep. So moles can be your friend in that way, in that they can help map you out in front of you. So long as you can figure out where they are horizontally or vertically, you can figure out, like this mole. Let's say this wall was closed up, we can actually figure out, we can actually use them a little bit. Okay, there's a wall right above us right here. You don't need to go be that pedantic about it, but it does help us map out a little bit. I'll go over Minibosses later. Zone 3, this one has probably the most enemy combos that are difficult to deal with. One that comes up a lot is hot dogs and Shovemonsters. So if we have these two here. Oh wow. I put him in the wrong spot, huh? So if you have a Shovemonster and a hot dog, maybe it's better to have an ice elemental. The whole point of it is that hot dogs have the lowest priority of all the enemies here. They will get stuck behind everything else. He will go out of his way to get stuck behind other enemies. Dogs will always get stuck behind other enemies. Except for knights, for some reason. So you can use that to your advantage, and that knights have a low priority. Okay, this sucks. We'll just cut this all. Dogs generally are the killers in Zone 3. Other enemies suck, but dogs are really shitty. Let's add more enemies here so that he blocks him a little bit. I think generally the best way to approach them is to let them come at you if there's multiple enemies coming. Ah. Well, you could get them all vertical like this too. Is to get the dog out from behind first. If you can't get the dogs out one by one, then just play better. One enemy combo I see a lot that is really killer, or I guess multiple enemy combos, is knights. Knights that are right next to each other that aggro together. So there's a few ways you can handle this. You can do an every beater strat, like that. You can kill one, and then bait the other out. Something worth noting is how you can safely handle these knights. You can bump them against walls, and then do the circle strat again. If you recognize that strat, you can give yourself some time and leeway, hitting him vertically. Give yourself some breathing room. This also works for when a Shovemonster is behind. Because Shovemonsters have lower priority. Unless it is a white knight, I believe, because they will have a lower priority. So you gotta prioritize the Shovemonster. See, if you fight them in a way where you're just running away, you're giving yourself a disadvantage. So knowing to fight them with one beaters can help a lot. The other combination that really sucks is when there's two knights that are 2 beats apart. Well, you have to aggro both. The other combo that sucks is 2 riders that are 2 beats apart. Why is he not aggroing? And that you kind of have to take a little bit more time, because there's not really any way to safely kill them. You kind of have to just spend your time. The one saving grace is that when you hit one knight, you are on parity with the next rider. Do 4. So that's really helpful. I guess another thing I'll go over now. I'll have to cut this back in later. When you're handling skeletons, it's really good to, you learn this from shielded skeletons, but also from mages, it's good to handle them in a circular way. What I mean by that is coaxing them around to hit them in a circle. You have to do that for black skeletons, but to coax them in a way like this, you can push them in a direction that you want to. But if you don't want to do it that way, you can bump against their shield if you're off parity, and then you can move up to, down to, or whatever direction, and you'll be on parity again. That can be pretty consistent. Bump, 1, 2. Let's say you're like super scared and you're like, oh no, what do I do? You got yourself room. You cannot get yourself on parity. You keep being afraid. 1, 2. Makes it pretty consistent. With mages, there's 2 ways to fight them, of course. One is to let yourself get sucked in. Oops. But you have to recognize when you're getting windspelled and sucked. You can use that for intentional if there's like, say there's a skeleton at the top of here. That's how you would handle them. That's extremely important for liches in Zone 4, and we'll go over that. I suppose just elementals in combo. When you have multiple coming at you and look, now they're off parity. You just really have to train yourself to figure out their parity. Luckily, you typically have a lot of time to deal with them. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's consistent. You gotta be mindful of it. So, zone 4. This is the area where I think enemy combinations are the most important. I'll actually give myself a glass torch here, just so you can see how this works. Goblin Bombers always have the highest priority out of all the enemies in Zone 4. They have the highest, out of all the mini-bosses, out of all the bats and spirits, they have the highest priority. They always will. So you can actually use that to your advantage. Of course, you wouldn't see this. To have the Goblin Bombers move in front of other things. Okay, we can actually buffer against here. And if you see that without Glass Torch, oh yeah, something worth mentioning too is my gold placement. This also applies for the Golems in Zone 2. Oops. This also applies for, you can see right there, just like that. You want Goblin Bombers to get in front of everything else. You can, let's say this Goblin Bomber is approaching me from this way. Or Goblin Bomber. This Golem approaching me from this way. You can consolidate them and their money really easily. The strat I like for that is hit 1. We'll do a better setup for that. You can consolidate their money really easily by doing it this way. Get their money more out of the way that way. Hit once, move twice, move back to them. See, we did it that way and we got that money out of the way from them right there. Get them all the way up here. Makes it a little bit more easy, especially in Zone 4 where gold placement is so important. That's a bad layout. The last enemy combo that I think is really killer is Liches. Liches and Blademasters. Liches and Warlocks. So let's say this. Why didn't you aggro? Of course, I'm giving just so much information for these later zones because you don't want to be dying and messing up to them because it just hurts. It sucks. So let's say we got a Lich and a Warlock inside this room. The priority bracket goes Blademaster, then Lich, then Warlock. So if you can get them in that order, it would help a lot. Do the circle strat. Use priority to our advantage so he gets stuck behind the wall. Just handle it like that. Something worth noting too with gold placement with Warlocks and Blademasters, the way to think about it is where you're standing when you attack, the first beat is where the gold is going to be. So I want this gold in the corner right here, and then back up into it. Want it in the bottommost, we're going to back up into it. Oops, okay. Another thing you can do with Liches too, kind of like blue dragons, you can dance in a way in front of them like that, move away from them when they move, and then move back towards them. Oh, not like that. And then you kill them accordingly. pretty consistent. There's a lot of ways you can handle them. Typically the best way is to try to get them stuck behind walls. Sometimes that can't always happen. Sometimes you're feeling a little crazy and just dig in. You just gotta be ready. Oh, why didn't you spam? Why didn't you aggro? You just have to be ready for whatever situation. Oops. Oh yeah, that's the last combo that really sucks, is a Blademaster and a Lich right next to each other. So you always want to be attacking them that way. Specifically with Blademasters and Lich, when they're both on parity. Oh, okay, that's not the way I would normally do it, but it almost worked. You want to hit once, and move once, hit, move once, hit. So that you are on parity to move when he would confuse, instead of getting confused. Oops. If you do it a different way, you get confused. Like that. And that can be killer. So it's more important to, if you can't isolate them, move once and then hit into the Lich. Another combo that sucks is multiple Harpies. Not just one Harpy, 2 Harpies, or even 3 Harpies. You can see this room. I didn't edit this room. That's just 3 Harpies up there. If they're on parity, you can hit, back up, hit. And that's consistent. Can I get them so that they're off parity with each other? Yeah, that's kind of killer. 1, 2. When 2 Harpies are off parity with each other, you can hit twice into the same beat. 1, 2. And that's consistent. Another thing with Harpies 2, a weird way to think of it, is if you dig against a wall, you'll always be on parity. Like that, we were afraid. If you dig against a wall against 1 Harpy, then you'll always be on parity. The way to handle Harpies too, if you really need to back up, like let's just clear out this room. Let's say there's gold placement everywhere and it's super messy and it's super dirty. What you can do with Harpies too, you can zigzag them back to you. Yeah, if you move in a square shape like that, then the Harpies will get you. 1, 2. Oops. Another thing you can do is Harpies move. So the way Harpies move is they move to you as fast as you can. They can move 4 tiles to you in a row, or 3 tiles, and then they can only move 2 tiles down or to the right, and then 1 tile orthogonally from that. But if they're right next to you and you zigzag to them, they'll always move in a consistent way. Like this. Oh. You can move them in a certain way onto gold, just like that. Provided that they're on parity. That can consolidate your health a little better. Another thing too, with gargoyles, this gargoyle specifically, this makes this room a lot more annoying. Look how much room and real estate we lose without any money. What we can do is nestle ourselves up right next to it and throw our dagger. That actually completely gets rid of it. That only works if you're right next to it. You have to be right next to it. One more Harpy on that gold to prove my point. So that's zone 4 enemies. Over mini bosses later. Zone 5 enemies, I think I made a pretty good demonstration of them. Wow, look at this layout. With, when I went through the zones, but you always want to be getting enemies and trying to kill them inside of walls. That's safest. So we got this egg up here. We can bait him over. 1, 2. Kill him inside a wall. One of my favorites interactions is skulls. Again, you probably saw this earlier. You kill this guy inside of a wall. And all that money is just completely out of the way. But sometimes that doesn't always work. Sometimes you have mages. So let's say we're digging through. Let's just construct this a little bit better. Like, let's say this is just a different room or whatever, and then there's a mage from across. What you can do is you can bait mages, go over 2 tiles. You can bait mages, bait them over 2 tiles, and that will get them into the room. And then you can fight them on parity. If you fight them that way, then you have them shoot, which can kind of suck. So the way I like to do it, get them like this, go over 2, and sneak right on in. One of the worst combos I feel like is Orcs and Mages. Mages have higher priority, so it's better to let them through first. You can, there's 2 ways you can do this. You could fight them over in this corner. Or you could fight the Orc first, let him out. Let's say the wire wasn't there, and fight him a little bit differently. There's a lot of ways you can fight them, specifically using the walls to be more safe. There's a lot of ways you can do it, but just being mindful to run around them can help a lot too. Let's say you're dumb and you just accidentally open up the door, right? Need our wire back. Better not panic. Oh. Ow. This is why you would always want to open doors. Or not, no, you don't want to open doors. So the last thing, I keep saying how important it is to not open doors. They're called devils? Yeah. Sometimes this is the spawn room you can expect to see on zone 5. If you open up the door, like, that's just so bad. So it's better to dig around. Okay, let's look around. Like, that's still scary, but it's a lot safer this way. Oh. Like, there is a way to fight it, but it's just so much more scary. So just digging all the time can really help. The last interaction, people get really scared around black skulls, which I understand. There's two ways you can fight them. Of course, you can use the wire. That's probably what you want to do. Oh, whoops. If you want to fight them, you always hit them back up once. Something worth noting is you can hit them off the wire. Like this. And then back up onto the wire. And you'll be right on parity with them. If you're in a situation where you're trapped around money and you need to fight them off wire, you can do it this way. Kill two and run on through. Kill the rest. If you're up against a wall, you can fight them this way. That's consistent. Let's say you hit them on wire, but then you fall off. Oh, sorry. Let's say you hit them on wire, but you fall off because you're afraid. You can go off. Most of the time, you can go through the skeletons, which is weird to think about, but it is safe. The other thing with white skeletons, let's just get rid of the wire completely, because if you're fighting with the wire on skeletons, it cramps up this room so much more. Now we only have this one row to go. So we can fight them inside of walls. That's probably the best way to handle them. If you can't, if they're out and about, don't corner yourself like that. You can fight them like this. That consolidates the money. You hit them 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Back up. You get a little bit more space. Let's see you're fighting the skeletons against a wall. You have to recognize when it's going to be a wall and when it's going to be a corner. So if you fight him like this, you have to fight right next to you and be cornered around you. But like right there, it's a wall. Everything for the white skeleton applies basically the same as the green. The other thing, if that you do want to utilize the wire, but you're off parity. Oh, that's not how you do it. Like, he's right in the way of this row. You can do that thing we did with mages earlier. Scoop him up and around. You can use that wire, it's a lot more safe. If you fight him like that, yep, money in the way. Fight him so that he's off parity. Scoot him around just to make that a little bit easier. That especially helps for black skulls if you want to fight them on wire, which you probably do. It makes it a lot easier. You can coax skulls. Let's give yourself a little bit more room. Lots of ways to handle them. What the most important thing is, you probably want to utilize walls. And you don't need to fight them on the wire. Any other combos? I'll probably find more later. So I'll go over mini bosses tomorrow. There's a few more to do. The thing with dragons and minotaurs, I think everybody knows their fundamentals of how to dragon dance, do the little circle method, circle around them. There's so many ways to fight them that aren't just the circle method. You can do horizontal, which is something you know if you've done a lot of Mary. You can do this to drag him one way too. You can use their laser to your advantage. Snipe those skeletons down there. This can work too for Leprechaun, if you want to manipulate the dragon into a certain way to be against the wall. There's so many ways to control a dragon. The biggest thing is probably you just need a little bit more room to handle it. Like, let's say some enemies were aggroed more in this room. It's just a nightmare. This is where horizontal would help. You get to bait that skeleton away. If we just dance in a circle there, that skeleton will come up to us and hit us. Why didn't I go? So, you know, if you aggro the skeletons that way, it's all about just knowing how to manipulate the dragon. You can use the laser to your advantage, which helps a lot. Of course, you might not see that many skeletons in a row in a real run, but I'm just sort of having a lot to prove a point. Horizontal can help you get some space. Oops. You manipulate these skeletons so they don't even come down. Now we can attack them. There's lots of ways to do it. The main takeaway is knowing exactly how to manipulate the dragon to cooperate with you. There's a few other ways you can dance around the dragon too. Those are the ways I just sort of like to. So I'll show each one. The one that everyone knows is the circle method. This makes it so the dragon only spits one way, which is fine. But if you want to use the dragon to spit different ways, you can use different methods. One I always use all the time is a square method. That method works for me really well because you can use it to run away. It gives you a lot more. When you fight circle method, you can only really do it vertically. And when you do the square method, you can use that to manipulate the dragon over, which can help with gold placement. It can help when there's enemies rushing you. It can help if you need the laser to his laser to spit in a certain direction. There's the horizontal strat as well. That's one of the coolest ones. That's if you just need to move left or right. There's the oval method where you just go around him. That one's a little weird. I don't use it a whole lot, but it does come up. Also, I keep dancing in this certain way, up and down, because if you just press up and down like this, the laser will never hit you. And you'll always be safe. Like, you can literally just press up and down. He'll move into the way of you. There's so many ways to handle dragons. Just knowing each way, or more specifically, what circumstances you're under. Like if there's, you know, you're in zone 3, there's a Knight Rider chasing you. It's probably better to get the Knight Rider first, then get the dragon. Or manipulate the dragon into a certain way to shoot the rider. Or hit the dragon a little bit and then go take care of the rider so he's low health. Like there's so many ways to handle it. It comes up a lot, so training against dragons can help too. And with Minotaurs, there's not a whole lot to say with them. My favorite is this dance method I figured out. That works because when you hit him once and then scoot around, he aggroes onto the beat you are, and then you move right out of the way. Probably the safest way to handle Minotaurs is just hit once and then run away. It'll always be line up being on parity. That comes up a lot if there's a rush. Like let's say there's some more enemies up here that are really, really tricky. Like let's just say this is an exit room. Then you open up the door. Oops. And a bunch of enemies come out. You can intentionally just not fight the Minotaur. Oops. You see what I mean though. That one does come up quite a bit on 1-3. Oops. Party moment. Oh! Yeah, just being able to adapt can help a lot. So generally, it can help to just not target the Minotaur because as soon as he dashes, he goes in a straight line. He'll always divert to that. That can help a lot in zone 2 because of how big and open it is. Like if we generate a zone 3 level. Yeah, like if we have a Minotaur here and there's a rush of enemies, we have a very long vertical column to deal with him. I don't want to approach him because of that Minotaur, or because of that Golem. Minotaur feels more like just finding the right moment to strike him. You don't really want to chase him down in zone 3, because, you know. Oh, Jesus. Wait, him first. I see, now we can just do slow strats to make it super safe. It's not aggro, anything else. Fuck. Done. Okay. For bats, Direbats, we'll just stick in zone 3 because a 1-2 or 1-1 Direbat honestly is not too difficult to take care of. But if you get a Direbat on 2-3 or 3-3, that can be really bad. Oop, it's dead. Channel this level. Oh no, yeah, we got a Direbat. So Direbat is all about patience when it's this fast. Like, honestly, let's get this guy out of the way. Just let him come into me. Oh, I had it. So when you have a Direbat in 3-3, just being patient helps a lot. Let him move into me. We actually can't approach. I'm gonna get rid of that guy. When he's cornered like this, that helps a lot. Ooh. Just be ready to react as well. I'll do this guy a little bit closer. I just move in a way that lets them move into me, and then if they move into me, I hit them. Like that. It's slow, but with how fast it is, you can't really react. Like if you just play super aggressive, yeah, you might get hit. That's fine. Okay, let's just focus on fighting him. And being safe. Let him move into me. There we go. Let's see if I can get him to cross me up. Sometimes the Direbat will move in a way. Here, let's get this guy out of the way. Let's just get all these enemies out of the way. We're just focusing on the Direbat. Sometimes the Direbat will move in a way where he moves next to you, but it's not the spot you predicted it was. Or they'll just move away like that. Like, oh, there we go. I feel so cornered up here. Okay. Oh, that time he moved into me. There you go, like that. Sometimes he'll cross you up. Just be ready to move out of his way so he doesn't hit you. Another way to think of it too is like this checkerboard pattern on the floor. So if we just look when we're on parity, we're moving in a checkerboard pattern around us. So we can only go up left to be safe next to him, or down left, like right there. Got lucky there. Recognizing that checkerboard of where you can move can help. Oh, that time he moved into me. Oh, jeez. And sometimes, yeah, you're just not ready for when they cooperate. Just be ready to react. Eventually, just due to the probability of odds, even though it's annoying and you have to be patient, they will most likely move into you at some point. Oops. Don't move into them like that. Just let them move into you. Hold. Generally, it's better to just get the enemies around the Direbat to not deal with them. But you have to be careful when they're right next to the enemy, because like that bat has a higher priority, so he might bump into the ice elemental and buffer him for a beat, bump into the fire slime, buffer him for a beat, and then all of a sudden the ice or the fire slime is off beat. Accidentally used the bomb. Yeah, it's a hard boss. Just be patient, and you'll probably be fine. Cross me up. Oh my god. Oh my god. God damn. Yeah, hard boss. Just be patient with him. So the Zone 2 bosses, the only bosses. Honestly, you don't need a tutorial on Nightmare. Excuse me. Because, like, Nightmare? Horse. What's he called? Just Nightmare. Just pay attention to gold on the floor. And if you have gold outlines on or a mod on, let's see, there's a gold pile. Gold piles around him. It'll still show up when it's dark. So just attack him and you'll be fine. Most of the time you're relieved to see a horse because you hear trampling coming towards you. And then you see it getting dark for a little bit. And then you realize it's a horse. Okay, easy peasy. Banshees in Zone 2 are generally pretty easy. The one thing with Banshees that I've learned a lot is them being stealthy. So let's say we get rid of this wall, like it maybe this level generated a little bit more weird. Oh, that's not a good example. Yeah, we need a better level than this. Hold on. I guess this does come up a bit more often in Zone 3 as well, with how weird the levels generate. But it can come up in Zone 2 and Zone 4 as well. Oh, here's a decent enough example. You can just dig a wall, and there'll be a Banshee behind it. And it's quite scary. Like that. You just don't know what to do. One more time she dug for me. I would say the worst interaction... this is not a good example, actually. I need a different level. I need a different level. I need a different level. Maybe this is one. Okay. This is Zone 3 rush. Oh yeah, this is a perfect example. Okay. So what could happen sometimes is you're digging through. Okay, you can see the boss stairs. But where's the boss? There's no Minotaur coming towards me. There's no bat flying around. Maybe it's a blue dragon? No. Shit. There's just a Banshee stuck inside the wall. Because she aggroes... She has a kind of small aggro radius. But it's still big enough that she can get stuck behind walls like that. Like that time. She came out and around. So just be careful of digging through walls and there's suddenly a Banshee in your face. The other thing that really sucks with Banshees... Let's get all this shit out of the way, these immediate aggro jerks. Is Banshees right next to Knights, right next to one beaters. That doesn't come up too often in Zone 2. The only one beater is moles. And most of the time moles will get stuck. But sometimes these two will come out together. When they're both on parity, that's completely fine. Sometimes what happens is they're a little bit off. So you can intentionally nestle the Banshee up against a wall. But be careful because she has a high priority. There's not really any super clean way to deal with it, just don't panic. Yeah, like that. You need to be careful about not going a straight line because, again, because of that priority. If they're not nestled up right against each other, then it can be pretty tricky to take care of her. The worst one that comes up is in Zone 4. And we'll just get all these enemies out of the way. So I'm not dying on Zone 4. Oh, God. Is Banshees and Harpies. I'm just trying to show the exit room because it's the only place you would see a Banshee. Like this. Never mind. It can be really scary on every Zone 4 level. Is Banshee and Warlock. In that set of circumstances, the Harpies jumped in front. Even though Harpies have a lower priority, they jumped in front of the Banshee. But let's say the stairs were a little bit forward. Like that. You can kill them in going back in a straight line. The way that works is you're hitting the Banshee when she's right up against the Harpy. The Harpy has a lower priority, so the Harpy isn't jumping out in front of the Banshee. The Harpies are jumping right behind the Banshee, and they nestle themselves right behind her. Of course, if you just run away and try to handle the Banshee or handle the Harpies separately, the Harpies will never jump in front because they have a lower priority. Also high. You can run all you want. You try to zigzag, get them out from behind. It just doesn't work. So the best way to deal with it is have like you're good about your goal placement, you have a row that you can back up on. And just alternate, up, down, up, down, up, down. It works on the same going left, right, left, right, left, right as well. So hopefully that helps. Blue dragons. So the weirdest thing about blue dragons is that red dragons have the highest aggro radius in the game. Like if we just replace this blue dragon with a red dragon, he will aggro from so far away. Look at that, he's already trampling. I believe blue dragons have one of the lowest, if not the lowest, aggro radius in the game. That's something to be careful of when you think it's an exit room. Just being ready for blue dragon. Ooh, yeah, because they can come out of nowhere just like that. That's why I also think it's good to approach Zone 4 exit rooms vertically always, other than the mommy and the ogre. Well, I guess ogre doesn't matter too much, but the two dragons that spawn in Zone 4, approaching them horizontally can be really bad. So it's almost always better to approach vertically. Everything that applies... What is that, my cat? Everything that applies to the red dragon also applies to the blue dragon. All the ways you would dance around them. Horizontal strap. Get away from enemies. Circle strat. Ooh, you have to hit him. So the two things that matter most with Blue Dragon is how you can approach them horizontally safely. There's a strat, kind of like the Liches. If you're backing up, we should probably go into no beat to show that better. What you're doing is you're backing up. You're moving into his range, backing up, moving back into his range, hitting him, and then he buffers a spit, and then you just dance normally. It can help if you're stuck horizontally and you need to get onto parity real quick. Like you dig a wall horizontally and oh my god, there's a blue dragon on my face. Another thing too is that if you get frozen, it's not the end of the world. Like that. What I see a lot, there's a certain interaction. How do I get it? This one. Where you freeze and you're on parity. You can just hit him right away once you get unfrozen. What I see Codas do a lot is they run up and then they try to get back on parity. They get scared of being frozen. No matter what, you are always frozen for 4 beats. So if you just memorize that. Oops, I didn't have one less heart. Then you can get unfrozen and reliably attack him. Even if it's horizontally. Oops, I missed it. It's scary. But you can do it pretty safely. So it makes Blue Dragons one of the easiest bosses to fight, at least in my opinion. Like that, I kind of messed up that horizontal strat, where you try to go into him. Just don't panic when you get frozen. It also doesn't matter what keys you press when you're frozen, you just need to be pressing them. You can even buffer throw. One other thing with dragons that I didn't mention with... I need a better level for this. With red dragons... Oops, not Seed 0. Is you can... This comes up, I feel like, in Zone 2. Maybe the most often because of a red dragon that just immediately aggroes off of spawn. And those mushrooms inside the spawn room can block you. If you try to dance right here where my mouse is, you won't be able to because you'll be right here and the dragon will spit right here and you're completely stuck. So what you can do if I can get a level to generate that would cooperate. Here we go. This is a decent enough one. Is you can dig. While you're dancing around him. And just treat it as if you would be attacking. It only works vertically. Come on, buddy. So you can't just keep digging away in a horizontal line. or else you get spit on. Let's say, yeah, you did your level this way. Oh. Okay, yeah. Try again. Let's say you did the level this way. You don't know where the dragon's coming from. Top right? Nope, it's bottom right. This works for blue dragons as well, obviously. It doesn't come up super often in Zone 3 or Zone 4. I feel like it does quite a bit in Zone 2. And it's good to know outside of Loda 2 if you have a tier 2 shovel and need to dig away. Okay, so the mommy. Jumping into Zone 4 mini-bosses. They all suck. Specifically the mommy. I guess Banshee and Nightmare isn't so bad in Zone 4. But mommy is just always genuinely awful. So, let's fight her. There's a few ways to handle her. The one that I see people liking a lot, yeah, there we go. Getting the mummy stuck behind a wall. Manipulating the mummy to jump diagonally behind a wall so you just don't have to deal with him. Probably the most... generally the safest option for mommy. Just keep a little outcrop. So that's cool. There's a consistent way for that. But the thing with mommy is she won't always be consistent. Sometimes you spawn her in. You know, I'm showing this level now without having any enemies inside of it. That way I'm not dying over and over again. I have to cut. But depending how your gold placement is, navigating the level can be really annoying. Maybe you can't. Like maybe you say there is gold here because you killed a bat there or something. Or there's goo on this level all the way down here. So you have to manipulate the mommy out further away. There's a few ways you can handle that. There's the mommy dance, which I'll show now. That skeleton kind of made it a little tricky. Get out. I'll try to get a better example of that. So, another thing you can do for mommy, this is something I keep saying in Zone 4, approach vertically. Because that mommy dance is tricky. Okay. Okay, now we can approach this mommy vertically. Let's see here, we can get the... mommy stuck? Nope. Mommy dance. I'll probably slow that down in post so you can see it. There's another way to handle her. Of course, in that scenario, you could have gotten the... you can't see my mouse. You could have stuck the mummy on this bottom row where the gold isn't at all. Get the mummy stuck and then fight the mommy. Let her come up and around. Also, where the mommy decides to spawn the mummy, I'll throw up a little visual. The mommy prefers to spawn the mummy in a certain order. So basically, always she'll want to spawn it below her. If she can, she'll spawn it directly but below her. And if she can't there, she'll spawn it directly bottom left of her. If not there, then bottom right. So there's an order to it. And using that method, well, knowing also that the mummy always spawns below her is why you can do that mommy dance in the first place. But if you know the method to nestle yourself below her, which I guess let's just not even deal with the exit room. If you just fight her individually vertically, there's a consistent way to fight her. Like that. You hit, you're basically buffering against the mummy at the same time. Because if you hit 1, 2, 3, you'll die. That time it didn't work. I couldn't get it on the right parity. That's one way to do it. You have to be very, very adaptive. Okay. There we go. I'm actually aggroing her off parity. That's obviously hard to do in a Zone 4 exit room because you have so many enemies jumping out at you once. The other way to do it, if you just want to be really safe, is just get out of the way of the mummy. If you have the room, you can just dance around and manipulate the mummy to get out of the way. So there's lots of ways to fight her, but again, you're probably not fighting her alone. Can I move my spawn? Coda. Is there a spawn entity? I don't know how to change that. Yeah, there we go. Let's just spawn right below the exit. Normally what happens with exit rooms is you just don't have the space to fight a mommy. You have to back up a lot. God damn. Oh yeah, something to note too is the little mummy she spawns has the same priority as the mommy. And since it moves diagonally, it'll normally try to jump in front of other enemies and just get out ahead. Night makes that so much harder. Now we got her. Yeah, very tricky. She's definitely the worst boss in Loda. Even in normal Coda, you hate seeing her. Just save your grenade in normal Coda. You kill Deep Blues 3 with a nade. Save your other nade for Mommy in Zone 4. Okay, this time we got her stuck. So a lot like the dragon in a way, because you have to know a lot of ways to dance around the mummy in order to fight it safely. You have to be able to recognize when it's gonna attack, when you have to strike at the right moment, when you're getting on parity. Confidence. Just need it for the mommy. Mommy dance is so much fun. As annoying as mommy is, doing the mommy dance is so much fun. So, onto the Ogre, who is comparatively so much easier. It's insane how much easier the Ogre is. Honestly, there's not even a whole lot to say about him. He moves in 4, just like a Golem. Just the one thing about him is figuring out you're on parity. And he doesn't have a spawn sound. Okay, well, the enemies being below. I'm just gonna get rid of the enemies below, man. We're just trying to show up the Ogre. And will put some gold piles here, like, oh, that's where we came from. Up. Wait, no, that leprechaun will spawn. Right there, right there, right there. Yeah, that's where we killed enemies. Okay. When fighting the Ogre, just find the parity. Not too hard. 1, 2, 3, dodge. Dead. Oops. Wrong order of operations. The one thing about the Ogre is you can use it to actually attack other enemies. Like that. It's all about recognizing parity and getting back on it. Am I blocked? I'm not. The other thing about Ogre is you can actually stall out his position, just making him thwack over and over. Kind of like the dragon, you're just safe like doing this if you need a moment to breathe. Now we attack. What? I don't really like fighting that way of comboing. Because if you read the pattern wrong and attack when you think you're on parity, you just die. Whoa. Huh. Like, let's say you attack twice because you think you're on parity. No, that doesn't work. And that can be really hard on 4-3 when the song is so fast and it's hard to find your parity. So what I normally like to do for Ogre... Not block ourselves. Just do it this way. Yeah! That was a cute sound. It's the same way I fight Golems and Goolems. Hit once, move away 2, back 1. Hit once. You have to take care of this guy first. Get him into position. Hit once, back up. Hit once, back up. 1, 2, 3. You do not have to worry about finding parity doing it that way. You do not have to worry about parity at all. Unless, of course, you attack him when he would be, you know, swinging. But if you're looking out for it and trying to dodge him in that way, you're almost never going to be attacking him when he's on attack parity. Boop. There's so many ways to fight him. He's generally really easy. It's just finding that parity if you fight him that one way. Being cognizant of his long range He can actually hit you from so far away. Three tiles away. So be careful of his long range. But yeah, generally pretty easy. Especially compared to Mommy. Okay, so for Zone 5 enemies, mini-bosses, all we have is Metronomes, which suck. Not too hard. Here's a Metronome level right here. And Earth Dragons. The really bad thing with Metronomes, obviously, is finding their parity, and they can dig through walls. It's just all about pattern recognition. Like that, you just have to be very aware of his when he's moving. There's not really any advice I can get other than, like, when you see it, you know? When it feels right, you get it. Another thing you can do, we'll keep the enemies here. Because again, what makes mini bosses so scary is when they're in leash with other enemies. Let him out. Looks like he might dig here. He's definitely gonna get the door. Nope. There he goes. If you just have a column to back up on, you're pretty safe. Like, you saw that, I was right on him. But you still dodged away out of his splash like a mushroom. It's all about finding that parity. Another thing you can do if you want to be a little bit safer, if let's say you're good about your gold management, there's no skulls down here, that can happen. We actually did see, what was that, a white skull? Let's say this could happen. You have a yellow air quote skull. Hit him on the wire. What you can do for the metronome is throw your dagger. I wouldn't recommend it down there, because that's close to his exit. You can just keep throwing your dagger, and so long as you have a free row or a free column, and you know your dagger isn't landing on money, sick. Use the wire light to aggro. Nope. Even here with these enemies coming, you can still throw. Oh, he's actually digging. Even when we throw, we're still fine. Look at the minimap, we can see there's no red dots down there. It's basically just about making sure you line up and that you're not throwing your money onto gold. Like that. Because then what are you going to do? You got one bomb. Maybe you spent your bomb on Deep Blues 4. Death Metal 4 for a quick kill. Make it a little easier. The other thing, we saw that a few times too with the metronome. Aggro. Is he can dig through walls. But if he will bump against spike walls and take damage still. Which you can use to your advantage. That gets one heart off of him for free. This is actually really hairy. Haha, just had to find the parity there. It's safe to throw. Confidence. Okay. Yeah, there's lots of ways to fight him. Of course, what I said earlier about gold management applies, because if you're throwing your dagger like that to safely kill the Metronome, you would hate to throw it on some money, especially on like 5-3 or something. Like, damn, imagine losing that way. I made it all the way to 5-3. Whoops, I threw on the wrong row and I didn't realize. I lose, reset. Yeah, just being careful about finding parity. Sometimes this can happen too, where you get, I mean, maybe I can generate a level this way. You just get like a series of spikes in a row on the wall. I'll come back to you, Earth Dragon. I'll keep that level. Earth Dragon's insanely easy. Much like the Mommy and Ogre, Earth Dragon is so much easier than the Metronome. I keep getting Oitub levels. I don't seem to be able to generate a level that has it. Well, here's some spike walls in a row. So let's say these spike walls spawned in a row. And let's say there's a Metrognome instead of a dragon. That can happen some seeds. You can just use those spikes to your advantage. Ooh. Just aggro that Metronome from a distance. Look at that, now most of his health is gone. He cannot dig, the Metronome cannot dig through tier 2 walls, he can only dig tier 1. So we actually have a lot of room to just think about this for a second. We have a clear gold row to the right. There's also ways to fight the Metronome without fighting him. Also, look at this wire. That's weird. I didn't edit that. That wire is just weird like that. Yeah, well, I guess maybe because of level editor, it connected together. That was weird. But yeah, Metronome just basically try to find the parity. Earth Dragons are so much easier. They're basically just a green dragon. Let's be honest. Basically the only one piece of tech you need to know for them is how to manipulate them so that they don't spawn walls. This Gorgon. We're gonna manipulate the dragon this way. Oh, my keyboard dropped a beat. I hate when that happens, man. There we go again. Good spot. Use it against this wall. If you're just on parity, you can hit him so that your back is against the wall, line him up, and he just won't spawn. Tier 2 walls. So you may be a little scared, you can just land it this way and give yourself so much time. So easy, so easy. You love seeing Earth Dragon. Oops. Another thing, if you just don't care about the walls, like, that's fine. That works too. Just be mindful of where you're putting the walls. Oops. I'm rushing a little bit just so I can fight the mini boss one. Using the shop to your advantage can also help a lot too. Which also goes for the Metronome, I suppose. Let's just get him all the way back here. Who cares about if he spawns wolves or not? Easy. Yeah, you love to see Earth Dragon. It's kind of insane how many bosses there are in this game. That's like, God, this mini boss sucks. I hate them so much. And the other one is like, oh yeah, that's literally the easiest thing. Like the red devil poses more of a threat in this level than the Earth Dragon does, because you can't see him. And to extend the zombie, I got hit a few times by that zombie. Earth Dragon is so easy. So I suppose that's everything with mini bosses. If there's anything else I'll remember, I'll mention that too, but what now? So for bosses, this is probably the main skill check of the run. Whatever boss you get is completely random, obviously, but there's certain bosses that there's a certain boss order you want to beat Lola. Preferably Deep Blues 1, Death Metal 2, you want an easy, let's say, Core F3 or Fortissimole 3, and then maybe Deep Blues 1, Death Metal 2, Core Riff 3, Fortissimole 4, King Konga 5. That one's pretty easy, and coincidentally, the boss order I got on my Coda clear. Definitely got very lucky. But you won't always get that boss order. Sometimes you'll get Death Metal 1, Core Riff 2, Deep Blues 3, and you'll have Konga and Fortissimole last. So that's still manageable. I'll go through each boss row by row, or column by column rather. So starting with King Konga, generally an easier boss. King Konga 1, honestly, extremely free. I don't even think I need to talk about it. You walk in and you kill the enemies. It's extremely easy. Maybe the one piece of advice is to coax the zombies to the back. Because if you fight up here, like look at this bat. He could have very easily moved up here into a way to kill me, but he didn't. King Konga 2, a little bit harder because of the mages. Because of the wind spell onto the Vow of Poverty. There's a few ways you can do it. Oh, this is the perfect one you want. Mage is getting stuck on the confused trap. You want to kill this armadillo first. We got a tricky layout here. We're actually safe to keep attacking like this. It's kind of scary, so we're going to throw our dagger. That's one way to do it. Basically, the only difficulty is, like, the bosses are all consistent. The only variance is where the enemies spawn. Oops. Like this, we don't have... Okay, this is a slightly off the rails Konga. Yeah. We got one mage to deal with. That's actually fine. The way I like to normally do that is kill the 2 zombies, and we have just a throw. There is a different way. I'll try to get it. Yeah, with both mages. I typically really like throwing towards the end because it can get really hairy really quickly. Let's say the fight... This can happen on any King Kong, honestly. Let's say that bat moved up to me and that pressured me to moving up. you can fight him in that way. Just stay calm about it. The other really tricky thing about King Conga, this also applies to all King Kongas, is how I guess I'll try to show this off in King Konga 1. Is that the zombies move in a weird way. They prefer to move vertically, as opposed to horizontally. Like that last zombie at the very end, he prefers to move vertically. So keep that in mind. Oop, I cornered myself. There's a few ways to handle yourself about this. You can see right there. You always want to be mindful of them moving vertically. They will move vertically when they want to. When they can, rather. Which can be so weird. Oh, yeah, sometimes you get that bat that blocks. So this actually is a good example of when you would want to know this. Just don't panic and the fight will be fine. But be mindful of it, because it can happen. So, King Konga 3, I personally believe, is the hardest King Konga. There's a consistent strat for it that some people know. I don't know it. Yeah, I went back and I actually learned how to do King Konga 3. There's 2 ways to do it. So I'm cutting them post here basically. So the 2 ways to do it is to fight them in the middle or fight them on this bottom wall. Bat. Bat! Oh my god. Okay, so what I did there, you asshole. I guess the strat doesn't work for that then. You'd probably want to back up a little bit to be safe. You're manipulating the zombies to come down the middle to you. And then dodging right out of the way on the last beat. Okay, this is not a standard fight. Can you tell I practice this boss a little bit more? Jesus. You would just cut everything from the last fight. Last tutorial, because oh my god. The other way to do it? No, let's try to get that first way again. Just show it off again. You're manipulating them so they come down. Oops. Gonna hit the Hellhound there. And then dodge right out of the way on the last beat. The bat didn't cause a problem that time. The other way to do it? Let's see if I can get that way. Bait them all the way to the town. Oh hey, here's something rare that happens on this fight. And King Konga 3 and 4. Is both the enemies up top spawn on the same tile together. So watch this fire elemental jump out, and then there's an ice elemental too behind them. Oh, I can do it right. Okay, the bat fucked it up. That's not my fault. fault. There you go. Oh my god, bat. That bat terrified me. Okay, so what you do for that one, you saw, is you bait them all the way down, combo, and then for the last beat, the last time you attack, you switch to hit the goblin first. Okay, the bat. You kind of have to just adapt and realize whether to fight them from the middle and bait them down, or bait them all the way down. Bait the zombies. I'm not super great at this fight, so... Oh, excuse me. Here we go. Doesn't matter what order you kill the zombies in for that part. Just, you have to kill the goblin first. And then the Hellhound. Oh, the bat blocked me. So I did that wrong. You need to do it to the left. Always go to the left when you bait them down to the bottom. Or bait them from the middle. Bat. Good bat. So yeah, you can see how that is a little inconsistent. That's just kind of how it is on King Konga 3. Oh, you bat. Yes, if you go to the right, then the zombies don't want to line up vertically. It's so finicky. Like, I learned this quick kill, but it's still so weird. So normally what I do for this fight is I just play it slow. Let's get this elemental. We're gonna go above. I'm gonna get this Yeti because he's annoying and I hate him and I don't like him. And I'm gonna miss a beat because I'm bad. I'm gonna go into beat mode because it's longer and I'm gonna be talking while I'm doing it. Cause that's embarrassing to die like that. I had it wrong. I sort of just forced him to do it this way. Okay, you can see from there. You just have to adapt. Which method am I gonna do? Am I gonna do bait them from the middle, bait them all the way to the bottom? Or slow play? Okay, so zombies stuck in the confuse trap, which kind of sucks. Hellhound is stuck. Boop. You can see from there. So the other cool thing to know about this fight is how you attack the Goblin Bombies. In this instance, it doesn't matter if you do it that way. You can see how to do it from there. Let's just get this Goblin. Never mind, he's confused. Let's get this Goblin over to me. goes on parity. So something cool you can do with goblins. If I could just show it, please. Okay, he's 2 tiles away from me. This also works if he's 1 tile away, if you throw the dagger into him. But since he's 2 tiles away, we can throw, input, throw. And now he's right next to me. So also work with the other goblin. You can line them up. The wrong choice, but you can see what I mean. You just have to ditch. Oh, the bat blocked me. Okay, if we do it this way, don't fret. Well, this bat is giving me so much trouble. He keeps just blocking me. Get lucky during this fight, apparently, so the bat doesn't block you. So do it that way. That's the way I used to do the fight and always die. You want to approach? I'll go back and show that. After you hit the elemental, we're going left, right here. So that the gray goblin goes the f away because he's annoying. Oh, duh. Pretty consistent. You know, if you get lucky, if you recognize which opening you have. That. Huh. Oh, the other goblin down there lined up for it. That's so annoying. I should have taken that more slow. But you could see how you would do that version 2 where you go to the right. Maybe you would come out a little bit earlier, kill the Yeti. But yeah, I feel a lot more confident putting that in a tutorial now that I actually know how to do that fight a little bit better. Anything else I need to amend for bosses? Oh yeah. Okay. So for King Conga 4, I think he might be the second easiest one. There's a few ways to do it. You can prioritize the Goblin Bombers on the bottom. Like that. Actually, go around a little bit. Get it safely. Especially in these later King Kongas, you might want to have to be more comfortable with doing adaptive lines. The other people that I see people that like to do this fight is they throw their dagger at the Warlocks with the TP behind. Like this. Sometimes that doesn't always work though, so you kind of have to like learn and adapt. Those are the two ways you normally fight it. Goblins first or Bombers first? Or Goblins first or Warlock first? Generally pretty easy. King Konga 5, a little bit scary. This one kind of like King Konga 4, you want to prioritize the enemies on the bottom first. You want to be mindful of how you hit this egg too. You don't want to hit him onto the confuse trap. Or hit him against the bat. Like this. Now now you have this egg sitting over there that's scaring you. Okay, actually do it now. Okay, let's actually do it now. I'm gonna move up here so that this eye doesn't see me. Okay. Sometimes clearing all the enemies can make it easier. Since it's King Konga 5, you can throw your dagger and you don't need it when you win. Don't hit him on confuse. A little bit scary of a fight. We're actually going to leave those two so that we don't have a red skeleton run around. Oh. Okay. Yeah, their zombie dodges the confuse. No, he's gonna press confuse too. Okay, maybe a bit messy of a fight. But see, they're all kind of contained now. Contain this column. Not worry about that mage down there. Can throw in the last kill. We don't need our dagger now. We're done killing enemies. We just run to the exit. So yeah, you gotta be really adaptive for King Konga. Be ready for anything. Be ready for any key or any enemy combo. Probably the most adaptive and random of all the fights, honestly. Death metal. Probably the second hardest boss. I might have to go into no beat mode to demonstrate this boss a little bit better, actually. There's no way I can talk and do this at the same time. Let's start run. I'll still click to beat. So what you want to do, the reason death metal sucks is because of phase 2. He spawns extra enemies in phase 2 and runs away. Most of the time those enemies are just really bad. And his spawn cap is different for each boss, meaning how many enemies he can summon. So Death Metal 1, it's 7 enemies on Death Metal 1, 5 enemies on Death Metal 2, 3 on 3, 3 on 4, and 5 on Death Metal 5. It's particularly bad on Death Metal 1 for some reason. So okay, well hold on. So what you actually want to do in this fight is enter the same column as him. That will put you exactly on parity. You want to bait him right into the middle, like this. Throw our dagger for that last part of phase 1, or phase 2. Basically, the goal of the fight is to get out of phase 1, or out of phase 2 as fast as possible. You actually want to utilize the bounce traps. Okay, this is bad. That would have been a death to a misbeat there. If you need a moment to breathe and you're in phase 3, you can actually stand in this row and be safe. Oh, not always. If he's on the bounce pad. It's all about getting him out of phase 2 as soon as possible. Like that. Kind of hard in Death Metal 1. If it does go poorly, actually, you can actually stall out the spawn cap. I don't normally do it this way because obviously that's really hard. Yeah, because you have to react very quickly, but you can actually get a bunch of beheaded skeletons as if it's like, you see the idea, as if it's like cadence low percent. Death Metal 2, actually one of the easiest bosses in the game, because his spawn cap is at 5, and he spawns with 4 enemies, and what you can do is just run in and consistently attack him like this. Run in the same column as him, juke him, you're already in phase 2, hit him once, okay, now you can stall for 1 enemy, and you're at spawn cap. Just be mindful of the clones. You can see how much easier a fight that is. Same column, up to 3. Let's get that skeleton. Actually want to be mindful of the clones. And we're already done. Much easier fight. 1, 2, 3, 1. Would have been a misbeat death. Would have been a misbeat death. Yeah, you can see how it goes. Death Metal 3. For how easy Death Metal 2 is, Death Metal 3, I honestly would say, is the hardest low percent boss. I would honestly say it's harder than Deep Blue's 5. Because his spawn cap is only at 3. But what he spawns is riders. And if you're not on parity with them, you cannot get on parity with them. Unless you bounce, and it's very scary. So the way people normally do this fight, don't worry about entering the same row as him. Kill 1 beetle. Kill 1 beetle, and then you're going to kite the rest of the beetles. And then you're going to get him into phase 2. As soon as you can hit him. Okay, now he's in phase 2. Oh my god. You can see how hard this fight is. Kite the rest of the... You're kiting the beetles intentionally and not killing them. Ooh, I missed. I missed. Kill this beetle for me. Thank you. I missed. I just missed the key right there. You can see how you do the fight from there, right? Very hard boss. Actually kiting the beetles around. Oh my god. Oh my god, I bounced when I didn't want to. Now I got them all in the same row. Ah, I missed my beat there. You can see how you would do that. The other thing you can do, I'll teach you the quick kill. You enter 1, or honestly you can just find the parity yourself. I believe it's you enter 1. You kill all the beetles. Spend your bomb for it. Oh yeah. You gotta enter the same column as him. Bait him down here against this wall. 1, 2, bomb down. Oh, the money blocked me actually. Okay. Something worth noting that when you kite the beetles, I'll try to aggro them in a way. You would think if I press right here, the beetle would kill me, but no. His terrain opens up and the terrain takes priority over the trap spawning. So like that, we're actually safe in that corner. But if they're unshelled, then they'll hit you and they'll kill you. So that's something worth remembering when kiting. If you don't want to kite, that looks so stupid and so hard. Well, there is actually a quick kill method. Kite him against a wall. 1, 2, bomb, down, hit. Instantly into phase 2. Or phase 3. Completely skips phase 2. It does spend your bomb. Obviously, that's a lot better on Death Metal 4, Death Metal 5. Maybe you just want to seize on 4. Be worthwhile. Whoa, he's right there. So that's how you do that fight. Death Metal 4 actually is identical to Death Metal 3. But it's Warlocks instead of Beetles. So you kill one Warlock. Yeah. Corner myself. Oh, wait. Parity. Priority moment. You cut it around. Because if you don't, he spawns Liches. In phase 2. You actually just throw. Goes out of the way. Do that the same way. It's a little bit easier because of no terrain. But again, you basically just never want to see enemies like this. Like, oh, we can't make it quite in time. Uh-oh, there's a Lich in the way. Okay, well, bad example. He actually teleported really well. What? Was off parity? Let's say we're fighting him, and then we went up. Oh no, we're off parity. Now there's a Lich. Oh no. Yeah, it can get really bad really quickly. So you can do that. You can do that quick kill thing again. I think we're off parity. And Death Metal 5, this is probably when you would want to do that quick kill strat if you have your bomb. If not, good fucking luck. I pray for you. So what you want to do for quick kill, in this one you want to enter one row orthogonal to him. I actually bounced once, and he bounced once, so... The reason it's so bad is because he spawns mages. So even if you go out of your way to kill all these enemies... 1, 2, 1. And you got mages shooting at you. I missed. Yeah. That can be really bad. And of course that sucks right at the end of the run. Oops. Yeah, that's so bad. So you probably want to do quick kill. So you enter one row orthogonal. If you don't have a bomb, just pray. Because there's not much counterplay you can do other than just open the mages, don't spawn in a way that fucks you. Rush him, rush him, rush him. Like that, that's pretty good. Ugh. Throw the dagger. Just get out of here. Very scary fight. But if you make it that far, you can probably win. I'll save Deep Blues for last, honestly. Let's do the next two easy ones, which is Riff. Honestly, not a lot to say. Go in and you kill the enemies. And then he comes at you. The way Riff powers up, though, is drums, and then I believe it's violins. Or not violin. Drums, trumpets, violins, and keyboards power up. So in Riff 3, Zone 3, drums and violins are one shot. So be careful of them when they drop money. What you want to be mindful of is that Riff has the highest priority of all the enemies here. I did that so... Okay, I'm not paying attention. I'm not focusing as much. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1. The best way to fight Riff when he's aggroing like that is have enemies be off parity. You can see how the rest of the fight would go. Oops, uh-oh. Okay, this is kind of sketchy. So what we can do is line up for a throw. Then we can go over here, get our dagger in. That's one way you can handle it. If you're really afraid about approaching him, you can just throw at him this way. Just be mindful of, well, not dinking and not throwing your money, not throwing your dagger onto money. The other way people like to fight Riff is they go all over the arena. Over here. You just really have to be ready to react to Riff, because every fight is different depending on what enemies he sends, in what order, and what order he does phase 2 in. Phase 2 being when he sends all his tentacles at once. Riff 4 is honestly pretty much the same. Riff 5 is pretty difficult. There's 2 strats I've learned for this. Every tentacle has 5 hearts. If you don't have your bomb, you don't need it for this fight, but it can help. So what you do, you attack one. You always get rid of their water. Okay, we got the good phase. So what we're doing is we're getting right out of there. Hitting. Just spin our bomb to get rid of these enemies. That's one way to handle it, is if phase 2 goes second. You got the same one. 3, 4. You actually want to throw here. I'm gonna bait this violin over so that we can get our dagger back. You're finally taking your time here. Whoa, he spawns up there. You're finally throwing. Go. Easy peasy. So that's what happens if you have phase 2 second. What you can do if you get phase 2 first and you have a bomb. Oh, I did it wrong. You have to preempt it a little bit, but you can place a bomb if phase 2 spawns first. Or just place it right there and make it a little bit easier. I did that wrong. Let's say you don't have a bomb, you just have to have full confidence in yourself. fought the enemies in a way there to put them in a really good order. But basically because of how the enemies order spawn, and how they aggro, this fight will be different every time. And then line them up for a throw. Okay. No bomb necessary. I'm gonna bait them all the way over here. You can see how you do this fight. It's pretty easy, it's just being mindful of how the tentacles spawn. Because it's so adaptive. You need to be ready for whatever combination of tentacles there is. Okay, Fortissimole. Hold on. Okay, so for Fortissimole, generally one of the easier bosses. Basically every Zone 1 boss is really easy. But you do need to fight him differently because of Vow of Poverty. You can't go up through these rows. You have to kill him on this corner here. That's what every Fortissimole 1 fight looks like. I don't need to tell you how to do that fight. It's easy. Fortissimole 2 is a little bit more tricky. Two. Oh god. Be like that without the misbeats. Pretty consistent. Let's say you generally want to wait for him to spawn and then come up here. That way it's a lot safer. Just take your time. When you kill enemies, you want to make sure you don't put any money here or here, because that will just block it. When you do this fight, one thing you want to be very careful of is you don't want to accidentally put money here on that spot I just attacked on. Look at how bad this gold placement is. And be very mindful about your gold placement in this fight, because now look what we have to do. Look how messy this is. We can either go one to the right here and bait him out, or we can do backstage strats. So I'll go through this fight and show all the backstage strats. Here's this way. You can back up. That's consistent. I forget how scary we accidentally made this. So what we can do, we can actually dig against this wall, like that, which is safe, even though we might look cornered. Also, something worth noting, against these golems in Fortissimole, for some reason, I don't know if it's like scripted, like every single time when you run up to attack them, it'll be 1 2 1 2 3, not 1 2 3 1 2. 1 2 1 2, like that. See, I don't know how, but that happens a lot. So be ready for that. If you do have money here, if you do have money right here, it's fine because you can just hit 2, back up. So one thing you can do for this fight, if you're afraid of fighting all the enemies, since this is really cramped all of a sudden, actually kill him to get him out of the way. One of those enemies are stuck right there. Now we can do backstage strats. This works for every version of Fortissimole, by the way. Oh no, this is scary. I'm gonna go backstage. I don't like this. Get him all up here. Also do this version of backstage strats as well. It's called circle backstage. Called Scully backstage because Scully made it. That's how you do Fortissimole too. Fortissimole 3, probably one of the scarier Fortissimoles, but still pretty easy compared to other bosses. It's mainly most about getting this elemental and dog out of the way right away. Because yeah, sometimes it's because of how it spawns, it's just tricky. You want to kill the enemies as fast as you can so that the train doesn't get in the way. Also aggro those beetles in a certain way. Also, starting on this fight, on Death Metal 3 and above, you have to kill this spot up here where the gold is, so that the enemy gets stuck inside of it. Oh, my keyboard double tapped. That's kind of sad. So, oops. Basically, everything about this fight is doing it as quickly as possible. We actually need to do our tours and go over here. Oh my god, it froze for a second. And then it's a normal fight. By killing the enemy, we fasten it and get it stuck up there. So that's helpful. Oh, another thing I didn't show, we can show that on Fortissimole 4 is another way to do a kill that's safe. This fight is actually the easiest one, because there's a consistent safety strategy for it. Okay, so what you need to do is get these golems. 1, 2, 3, 1. By staying in this back row, you don't aggro the liches, and then staying in this horizontal or this column, you only aggro one lich at a time. The other strat you can do is this. That can be really helpful if there's gold up here and you can't get to it. If it's tricky over there, if there's a lich stuck over there already. But yeah, Fortissimole 4 is the easiest Fortissimole because of that strategy. Takes a little bit. It's the most consistent because of it. One, two, three. You can do it any way you really want to. Actually, the most consistent. Okay, and the last Fortissimole, Fortissimole 5, is the hardest one, which sucks because he's right at the end of this run. There's a few ways to handle. The thing that makes him so difficult is his speakers spawn eggs, which sucks. And also, it's just spawning in is rough. Like, look at this. Okay, we're out of spawn. There's a few ways you can do this. You kill that. You can do scoop strats. I'll show you scoop strats. So what you do, I'm gonna do this in slow motion first, is you go out. Fortissimole aggroes you downwards, so you go right. Aggroes you to the right, so you go up. Aggroes you below, so you go left. Nestle yourself in. You go out and attack. And since he's nestled up against the speaker, no eggs spawn. So I'll do that at speed now. Oh, actually, since we messed this up a little bit, it's fine if you scoop and you do it in a different way, so long as you do it in a unit of 2. So if you do it from here, it'll be fine. Since we aggroed from here, he moved down 2, and then he was in range where he normally would be, and then we scooped around. So that's one way you can do that fight. Another way to do it is to spend the bomb if you have it. Just get rid of the speaker so you don't have to worry about it. And then you can do backstage strats. Pretty consistent. It's actually a really good spawn. The last way you can do it really consistently is also backstage strats. Let's say you didn't have the bomb to spend, you already spent it at like 4-4 on deep blues or something. There's just still backstage strats. It still blocks the egg. Do scoop one more time so you can see it. Just like that. The hardest part, of course, is when it spawns. So that's Fortissimole 5, and now for the hardest boss. This is the meme boss, the super hard boss, Deep Blues. And Deep Blues isn't normally a hard boss, but the thing that makes him so killer is, of course, dagger only range, and Valve Poverty making everything tighter, and how fast you have to react in double time. But there's one saving grace for this fight, in that every fight is deterministic. Just like a regular chess game, once you get like to a certain position, a Grandmaster can recognize that and they know exactly what moves to do to win every single chess game. You can do that with Deep Blues as well. I personally don't know all the openings, I just sort of wing it, which is pretty irresponsible. You should know your Deep Blues openings, it's pretty easy to memorize. But if you look at Deep Blues and you see this pawn moving first, and you see this next pawn, you know, if you know that opening, you know exactly what to do, and you can just go down a normal memory chart of what to do, a normal flow chart. But if you don't, you also don't throw a bomb on this. Because sometimes you get seeds like this, where you can't get through. Sometimes yeah, we can't get through. This might take a second to demonstrate too. I think I'm actually doing it wrong. Nope, yep, see? Sometimes you do throw a bomb correctly and he still just blocks you. What can happen with throw bomb 2? The 7 and 8 chance. I'm actually getting pretty lucky. Yeah, sometimes he spawns up in front of you. And if he does, you either bump into him and you miss a beat, or like, what do you do now? You just don't throw a bomb. You don't want to waste your bomb. You don't want to risk it on a chance. So what you do for this fight is always, no matter what, you enter on column 3. This is so that you can get this top knight and the queen first. And also, this is why I said it's important to have your game zoomed out earlier, because if you're on default view, you can't see. So now you can see everything. You can see what opening it is. I actually do know this opening. Okay, so what I just did there is generally the fight with Deep Blues goes, you go up, and you get the knight and queen out of the way. You do not want to go left here. That's where you want to run behind from. So what you do is you clear out all these enemies up here. and then you get behind, and then you can kill the queen. That's obviously pretty easy on Deep Blues 1. Even if you trap yourself like this, we have this little opening down here. You're still completely fine. Deep Blues 1, pretty easy. You don't really need to know the openings for it. But each fight gets way harder than the last. So the way Deep Blues 2 and Deep Blues 4 specifically suck, because what they do is they randomly select 3 power pawns. Queen is always red. They randomly select 3 power pawns to be red. So even though the fight is deterministic in that with H pawn and then A pawn moving, the knight pawn will always move, the fact that it's red means that it's now a completely different variation. So, as much as I said you can win every single fight off of knowing that every single opening, that's not true on Deep Blues 4 and 2. Because which pawns are red is completely random. Which just really sucks. So normally you just kind of wing it on this fight. On Deep Blues 3, it is consistent again, so you can memorize every single opening as well. Every single pawn is just red, which is a lot more simple, but it's still kind of rough. Some people on Deep Blues, what they do is they run up and bomb to get rid of these enemies. And then they can get behind a lot more easily. You can see how to do that fight, but if you don't, there is still a way to memorize every single opening. Oops, you're not supposed to attack there. Supposed to just get behind. Oh, you saw that there? That was a knight opening. So remember how I just said that the game is deterministic? Oh, you actually can't get behind. That's funny. What I mean by that is when a pawn moves, it is random whether the pawn to the left of it or to the right of it moves. And then the RNG is done based off of those pawns. So if you know the first 2 pawn moves, then you know every move, which means there's only 16 openings to this fight. But that's not entirely true, because sometimes the horse moves first, and that's what we saw in the last seed, in the last attempt of the fight. And when the horse moves, any pawn can move after that. So if you get a horse or a knight opening, that's, well, you're just gonna have to wing it completely, because there's no strategy for it. You technically can learn every single horse opening. This horse to, I don't know, D to 4. This horse and then this pawn. But like, they're so rare. It's rare for a knight opening to begin, and then it's 8 variations on top of that. And then if you add on top of that the random power pawns or power pieces in Deep Blues 2 and 4, like it just becomes random. So there's lots of variations of this fight that are complete. And yeah, horse opening. Yeah, not much you can do in a horse opening. So what people like to do on Deep Blues 3 and above is get behind. And the way that works, the reason it's so important to get behind, not only just for like gold management, is the queens move in a certain way. If you keep moving left and right like this, they'll get stuck on each other. So even if we let all these queens through, if we move in that way, keep moving left and right so that they line up on one row, then they can all line up beautifully. Oh, horse opening. We got a double horse opening. This will also work. Oh, it does work horizontally, but I did it wrong. There's a double horse opening. That's just GG. I'm doing this in no beat mode because I really don't know this fight. So yeah, generally, because of how hard that fight is, how tight it is, even if it's really deterministic in a lot of variations and openings, it's still really hard and scary. And then as soon as you get to Deep Blues 4, you have all pawns are red, and then again, 3 power pieces are random. So it's back to the fight being completely random. Generally with this fight, it's... Oh man, that's such rough deep. The mantra behind Deep Blues and how you're fighting them is you're trying to kill as many pieces as possible, and then also get behind them as fast as possible, so that you can take care of the queens. Oops. Let's just do this slow so you can sort of see how it's supposed to be. Let's just do this slow so you can see how it's supposed to be done. We're moving away from that bishop. We're actually going to wait for him to move out of the way. Yeah, very, very hard fight, even with no beat mode. So what people like to do, and what I like to do if I make it to Deep Blues 4, is we run up, and if a pawn is in the way first, we kill that bomb. If not, then we bomb. Hit, bomb. That's actually so unlucky that the queen got stuck. I'm just behind him. Oops. I had it. Get behind as soon as possible. Ooh. Since she spent her bomb. Oh no, we're fine. We're completely fine actually. That's what spending your bomb can do for you. Oh, yeah. Gotta go all the way to the right first. Get behind, get behind, get behind. That's rough. Sometimes you get openings where even if you intend to bomb, like, you can see how hard of a fight this is. The only reason I got my low percent clear 100% genuinely, honestly, is because I got Deep Blues 1. I have Deep Blues 2 and Deep Blues 3 clears. Oh, horse opening. What? That was a rare castle moment. It was actually pretty clean. You can see how tough this fight is. Not just the fact that there's an element of randomness to it because of the power pieces being red. it sucks. And then Deep Blues 5, the Loda boss. Again, there are only 16 openings to it. There's only 8, oh well, unless you get a night opening. So this specific fight is random. But there's only 8 pawns that can move. And then from those 2 pawns. So there's only 16 openings for this. So there is a nice resource video of Dio Kurash showing all pawn openings. And if you really wanted to, you could just open that if you made it this far in Loda and then just copy his movement once you figure out what seed it is. But again, if you just have a knight like this, it's just completely random. This fight is genuinely impossible for me. I didn't mean to press that. Cornered. Oh, horse opening. So yeah, you can see how hard this fight is. I still think Death Metal 3 is harder because of how on point you need to play, but yeah. With Deep Blues, I forgot to mention this before. With how random Deep Blues 2 and 4 are, there are still like certain patterns to doing the fight to follow. Like you always enter under third column. Always, always, always. Okay, we recognize to get these power pieces first. And now we're getting behind. Oh, they didn't line up. That's annoying. Almost. So it's basically the flowchart is the same for every Deep Blues, just minor variations. Enter third column, run up, kill whatever is closest. Corner ourselves. Horse opening. We run up to whatever is closest to us. That's so weird. The horse openings are so weird. Again! Okay, well maybe on Deep Blues 4, you run up and bomb. Run to the right, get what you can, and then we try to prioritize getting behind. I don't want you. That's what killed me last time. Kind of, even though the fight is effectively random on Deep Blues 2 and 4, it still does follow a pretty predictable pattern. Hit the enemies, run to the right, kill what you can, retreat behind, bait the queens, win. Forgot to mention that the first time. I guess we'll have the speech now. So I'll just turn off this audio in the background because I want to turn on other background footage. So, as much as I just spent, how long is this video gonna be? 4 hours? However long I just spent talking about how important it is to know all these tricks, to know your bosses, to know how to handle mini-bosses, to know how to dig in Zone 3, how to fight Direbats, whatever. Sure, that's all well and good to know, but the utterly most important thing going into Coda Low % is your mentality. How you mentally approach the challenge. Because it's insanely hard. That's kind of like the whole point of this video, I guess, is to maybe make it a little bit less insanely hard. But like, you need to remember how many layers of skill you need to have in order to beat Coda Low percent. Because if you look at the achievements in this game, not even like 50% of players get out of zone 1 with Cadence. Either they played it and was like, this isn't for me, or like, this seems way too hard. To even beat the game with Cadence is an achievement. And then to go from there to get good at Melody, she's a little bit easier than Cadence, right? But then to get good at Aria, you're all of a sudden super comfortable in this game, starting in Zone 4 or Zone 5 with DLC, not missing a beat and only using your dagger. That's an insane achievement. And then, to play the other 9 characters required for all cares, Cadence, Dorian, Melody, Aria, Eli, Bard, and the other ones that I don't care about because I forgot their names. To beat all of those 9, to unlock Coda in the first place takes a lot of skill. And then to beat Coda the first time takes a lot of skill. We don't have an exact number of how documented, or how many people have documented, how many people have been documented to beat Coda. We know it's above 100, maybe 120 to 170. We don't really know because of console players, maybe some phone players. That's not a lot of people. This game, as of recording, just turned 10 years old. And even though there's 100 Coda, well over 100 Coda clears by now, you can still count on your 2 hands, assuming you don't have, like, you know, a physical disability. You can still count on your hands how many people have beaten Coda Low percent. It's just that hard. So you need to be okay when going into the challenge to just fail, to have fun, to, you know, make it to Zone 3 and die to a spawn rush. Or maybe you make it into Zone 3 and you kill the spawn rush in 3-2, but then you die on 3-3 and enjoy the game because, damn, I made it all the way to Zone 3 and I survived that one spawn rush. That was pretty cool. Or the first time you ever make it to Zone 4, or just getting out of Zone 1 on Coda Low. Like, whatever it is that makes it fun for you to play Coda Low percent is what you should be focusing on. Not all this, like, extra tips and tricks of how to fight Direbats and dragon dancing and all that. How you mentally approach it is way more important. I only realized that in like the last 2 weeks where I started grinding Coda Low percent, and I felt way more mentally like clean, I guess, able. Because what had happened in my life, in real life at that point, is I didn't get a new job, but I started making more money with my job, enjoying nature more in that job. I got married. What else happened in life? I watched a new show that I really enjoyed and latched onto. I guess not a new show. I had realized that my depression hadn't really taken me down for a few months, and it was genuinely uplifting. It made playing Coda Low percent go from this like sort of grind that I've subscribed myself to that I need to beat someday to like this thing I enjoy doing because it's fun to feel good at the video game. How you mentally approach it is so important. And of course, whatever you mentally fixate on or what makes it fun to you is probably different from me. And also at the same time, what things annoy you in the game is maybe different from me as well. Because for me, I had this fixation in my head that, oh, if I beat Coda Low percent, I'll be happy because I'll be in this like elite exclusive club of people that very few have beaten Coda Low percent, and I can say I've done it. And like, I can now, but surprise, surprise, I'm not all of a sudden magically happy. It didn't fix everything. It is cool, I'm still proud of it, but like, it didn't change anything. So yeah, I don't know what, if you're viewing this far and you made it this far, then you probably care about clearing Coda Low percent, so good on you for wasting your time just listening to me ramble. I appreciate that, but you have to understand how skilled you are to be at this point, to even want to clear Coda Low percent, to have that thought in your mind like, yeah, maybe one day I could do that. Because I'm sure anyone playing this game, they've had that thought. They've done it with Coda. It would be cool if I beat Coda. It's a very exclusive achievement. It would be cool if I beat Lowest of the Low. it would be cool if I got a sub 7 or 8 minutes cadence, you know, like whatever you fixate on in the game. Coda Low is just one of those things. So whatever mentally makes it easiest for you to approach it is definitely what you should be focusing on. Not the win, not how good you're doing, or, you know, maybe that is what you focus on. Not how important it is to win or how annoying it is to lose. Like for me, it was crushing to lose for a while, because it's like, what would happen for me, I would play Coda Low percent for like 10-20 minutes, because after like the 20 minute mark, I'm sort of like, my wind is blown out of my sails, my energy is a little spent, and I'm not reacting as quick as I could be. But what was mostly happening is I would die. I would get a run to 3-4 or something and die to Coral Riff, like, damn it, I had that. There's no way I should have lost there. And then going into the next run, I'm not clearing my mind, and I keep thinking to myself, man, I had Deep Blues 1, Death Metal 2, Coral Riff 3. If I had Fortissimole 4 and Death Metal 5 and kept my bomb, that's easily GG. I would have won. You know, you're not practicing good mental habits. You're setting yourself up for failure. If you're fixating on how you could have done that situation better, then yeah, learn from that, learn from your deaths, but don't be unhealthy about it. Mentality is the biggest thing, and not even just being like mentally happy and capable, just being confident in yourself, because it's a very scary category. If you make it to zone 4, you're definitely feeling the pressure of like, ooh, this could go all the way, and your hands start shaking. You need to be able to turn that part of your brain off. Just trust your fundamentals, know how to handle Harpies, know how to mommy dance. I guess that's the other part of this ramble is, and all the 4 hours preceding this and all the tips and tricks, is being cognizant of your abilities, being aware of what you can do, playing patient when you need to, playing aggressive when you need to, reacting quickly, not missing beats, and maintaining and composing yourself, handling your nerves. That is extremely important as well, not just how to healthfully mentally approach the challenge. So, yeah. TLDR, learn your fundamentals, learn enemy combos, learn your bosses. Don't get too upset at the game, and trust yourself. I mean, if you've made it this far in the video, then you probably care about carrying Coda Low, or you just like hearing me ramble. Maybe you fell asleep or something. Maybe someone is watching this, like, I don't know, driving home or something. I could see that. But yeah, just have fun playing the game. So, I suppose that's it. Yeah, again, I have a bunch of resources in the comments. Maybe if any other Coda players, I'm sure other Coda players will see this, if anybody else has any tips or tricks or things they've learned, if there's anything I fucked up on and said incorrectly, because, you know, it's hard to fact check myself when I only have myself to fact check myself. So if there's anything I said wrong or anything to correct me on, let me know. Maybe you can ask questions in the comments, and I could, or other people could answer. If the Discoda allows it, I could put a Discord link invite in the description. Another thing too, pretty regularly, there are multiplayer Coda lobbies. Not right now, particularly, but there's normally one every day at some time. So if you just check randomly, you might be able to join multiplayer Coda, and it is overwhelming, it is scary. There's people that play the game basically every day, if not quite a bit every month, so it can be kind of hard to jump into as a new person, but that can help you train too, just watching people play in real time. So yeah, I suppose that's it. Again, thanks if you made it this far. Good luck on your journeys. Hopefully, in a perfect world, I release this video and within a year there's like 21 Coda Low % clears. One could dream. The fact that this game has been out for 10 years and there's still only 10 people that cleared it, I guess goes to show how hard it is, but also that there's so much room to grow, because 2 years, or a year ago at this point, there was only 7 clearers. We had 3 this year. So, hopefully we'll see more Coda Low % clears. Okay, bye. I'm sure I rambled long enough. Bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.